already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live.
Right now.
Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York,
Brooklyn.
All my people, you rocking with the chat.
Hit that.
That like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't stop.
What?
Don't stop.
What?
Don't stop.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knicks family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the MBK family. Welcome to the Just Nick and Nick weekly show. I miss you guys. I said this last week. I got to figure something out. Once a week is not enough. I miss my community. Got a lot to talk about today. Got the crew with me. They brought up earlier, right before we went on, we was going through some topics to add to the show. Oh, we got to talk about Julius Randle. We haven't talked about the fact that he had surgery. We didn't talk about it on this show, that he's had surgery. And does that change our grade? So we'll talk a little bit about that. Chris Paul, we'll talk a little bit about Chris Paul at the end. But what I want to talk about, this is the off season. There are decisions to be made from the front office, as far as constructing this team so that we get a little bit better, especially since, in my opinion, the Eastern Conference is wide open. So the Knicks, I feel, can't really rest on their laurels because a team like Atlanta, another talented team can add a big piece. And then the next thing you know, they're off to the races, right? So I know a lot of Knicks fans want internal growth. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. Maybe we can do both. So we're going to talk about, the choices the Knicks may have to make depending on what comes across their desk. If nothing comes across their desk, if there's nothing out there, hopefully they won't force it. Like, don't be crazy, right? But what if something comes across your desk and you have to choose between whether you want to trade Randle or Barrett? What would you do? The salary cap. We're going to talk about the new CBA. I got a slide or two for you about the new CBA. Can we sign both Quickley and Josh Hart? Sure, we can. How does that impact the salary cap? And if we had to choose one, who are you re-signing? Mitch and Hartenstein. We're revisiting this conversation. Just, looking at how both have played throughout the season and in the playoffs, and just how much, this is my bias, how much I feel having a non-shooting center impacts us. Would it be in our best interest to start Hartenstein, give up a little bit of defense, not just for Hartenstein's offense, but how it helps the offense overall? Anyway, let's talk about it. I appreciate everybody that's here in the chat. We got a full house. Jarrell, Ajay, Jeff, Boogie. I think Stafford Dawn is back there.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay, all right. How's everybody doing?
Good,
Great.
good.
Salute.
Yes, love.
All right.
Shout out to you, Queen, man. Shout out to everybody up top, up north. Hope you're okay. Hope everybody's safe. Dealing with that situation. But right. I'm good, Queen. Hope you are too. Shout out to the panel.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the South too. So all those that's East Coast, not East Coast, but the Northeast. Hopefully you're taking care of yourself. Quick shout out, Kerry Cox, A-Train, JJ. JJ already said he would prefer to keep RJ. Whoa! He would prefer to keep RJ over Randle, and JJ's had some issues with RJ's inefficiency. Gerald Shalot, I hope I got that right. I appreciate you. I remember you called in to the MBK show. Deron Wade, baller for life. Listen, let's get into it. So, yeah, I want to start with the injury stuff, or we want to start right with the topics.
I guess the injury, because it happened kind of like right after we had our last show, I think.
couple days, I think.
Salute to Kareem Grant as well. All right. So we'll start with this. Since our last show, it was revealed that Julius Randle had arthroscopic surgery on his ankle. And so the question is, does that change the grade you gave him, for the season? Does that change how you think about his playoff series? Does it change anything about Julius Randle, at least your thoughts of Julius Randle, having learned that he has the ankle injury? I'm just going to get this out the way. And Sim asked this question on MBK. For me, it doesn't, because my grade of Julius Randle included the fact that he had an ankle injury. So I didn't expect him to play the way he played in the regular season. I didn't expect him to score as many points as he did in the regular season, partly because of the ankle, but partly because he's a power forward. There's things you can do a power forward or limit a power forward that is hard for you to do to stop or limit a guard, right? So I kind of knew that. But there's some things I've seen from Julius Randle in that playoff series that to me had nothing to do with the ankle. To me, he just looked like he checked out. He looked like, if you go in to close out and you don't get there because of the angle, I understand it. I think there's Stafford. Let me put that part. I get it, but not even going for the closeouts at all. Just some things that I saw from Julius Randle in that series that I just, in Miami particularly, that I just thought, I don't want to say gave up. That's really strong. I just felt it was more than an ankle. And him having surgery on the ankle doesn't change how I feel about it. Because again, it wasn't about the stats anyway. But that's all I have to say. We're gonna go around the horn. Boogie, we're gonna let you go first because you went last week a lot. So let you go first.
Okay. Shout out to everybody. Hope everybody in the greatest form of health, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat, everybody viewing and watching. Continue on supporting and sharing. And please hit that like button, support, sharing on Queen Show, Dope Soul. She's done a fantastic job. And along with the panel that rocks with her every week. It changes a whole lot for me because why do I have to lay down against a team that I averaged 31 points per game throughout the whole season? I've demolished them guys all year round in every game. So it seems to me like Julius really would have been looking forward to playing against these guys. He got his wish. He got over the hump playing against them Twin Towers, them long stretch arm defensive players. For him to be in this Miami situation, I'm gonna give him with the surgery coming out. I'm gonna have to switch my grade to give him a 50-50. Yes, a lot of his effort was not there. Yes, it looked like on certain plays he was giving up, but I don't know if he really just couldn't take it not being able to be 100% and just didn't want to hurt himself or what, trying to just glide through. I really don't know the situation as far as with his foot, but I know as far as with that surgery coming out, I got to give him a little bit of leeway, a little bit more than what I did last week. Last week I was speaking upon how until Julius does something in the playoffs, regular season doesn't matter to me. But now they don't got a whole lot, tougher and harder because we know this guy works out and he works out very hard in when the season is not going on. This eliminates his workout plan, everything. I don't know how he's going to come into shape. It eliminates, even if they was thinking about trading him, on top of some of the things that was going on with him. Now with the injury, they definitely going to turn their face away from him as far as a trade talk of receiving him on some other team, unless something is, probably given extra along with him. But I hate that the surgery, but he had to have surgery. Julius to me is not a player that fakes no injuries or nothing. I think he wanted to be out there, and for him to have surgery, yeah, you know, us as New York fans, I know people want to twist it. Oh, they just threw that out there because of the bad playing and all that and all that.
Oh, okay. You finished?
All right, so Queen, you want me?
No, we're going
in order. Or you're going this way.
Yeah, we're going to. So we're going to go with the president of the Julius Randle fan club, Stafford Don. Welcome, Stafford.
How you doing, Queen? How are you? I missed you. I missed you a lot.
True.
I'm probably like you and Jay Boogie. I'm 50-50 also too. The ankle did it.
Stafford Don, hold up for 1 second. I apologize, y'all. I had an alert from a whole nother show that came in. That's what that was. And they was talking over the talk. I had a whole nother show come in. I apologize for that, y'all. I'm back.
Oh, it's okay.
All good.
I'm sorry, Stafford Don.
Yes, I was saying, you good. So, but I said I'm 50-50 also too. You know, I think the ankle did affect his play. You know, certain things that he used to do, he wasn't aggressive like how he normally be. I didn't see that burst, that hunger in him. But at the same time, he was still doing bonehead plays just like in the regular season also too. You know, the lack of effort, running back on defense, stuff like that. I know probably running back on the ankle probably affected him. Probably. I'm not saying that's an excuse for him, but it could affect his ability to get down there faster, because I have seen him sprint down the court before. So I say both. And another thing I heard someone said is that even though it was a surgery, right? We don't know what type of surgery. We don't know if it was damage. We don't know if it was to just get cleaned. We don't know what the procedure was. So it could be a surgery, but you know, it's to the extent of what it was when they went in there and looked at the ankle. So you know, but that being said, you know, my grade doesn't change. I think I gave him a B, and it's going to stick to that.
Yeah, I think, Stafford, you said it the best. There's certain things that an ankle will impact, and there's certain things that an ankle won't impact that we saw in that in that series. Jarrell? Oh, you muted.
My bad. Yeah, it really doesn't change for me. I said before, no excuses, so I can't really go back on that just because I found out that he had surgery. It's more like being sympathetic for him. Like, I hate that it happened for him, because just like Jay Boogie said, like, Julius Randle should be salivating that he was going up against Miami. He has killed Miami for the past couple years, so it's more like a sympathetic thing. Like, I hated that it happened for him. I'm not going to change my grade because it's not like I didn't give him a low grade anyway. I think I gave him a B. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I could see if I gave him a low grade and grade on a curve, but I gave him a B anyway. So it'll be the same for me. I just don't want to give him any type of excuses. And like you guys said, like, some of the things that was going on in the court have nothing to do with his ankle. So just because of that, like, I wouldn't change my grade.
Ajay, and then Jeff.
Well, of course, before I start, hit the like button tonight. Every time, like, I got to keep reminding y'all. That's why I wrote that under my name. I got to keep hitting that like button. It's very important, guys. Very important. That's how you show support. All right. For sure. And I know you're enjoying the show because you come here every Thursday. You sit with us. I'm sure you enjoy the show. Salute to all you Knicks Nation. Salute to the panel, Queen Steph. Thanks for having us here, and for being the leader of this pack Ain't a damn thing changed with Julius Randle. I don't know if y'all remember. I gave him an A-. And the A- stayed A-. And you remember, Queen, I didn't base my grading Julius Randle on what he did in the playoffs. I graded on the whole season, and I thought he had a tremendous season, regardless of what happened in the playoffs. So that doesn't change anything to me, and it still doesn't. I would like to see Julius be more aggressive, and like you said, Queen, nothing he could do next season, anything short of going to at least the Eastern Conference Final, nothing's gonna impress any one of us here. You know, he could be first team All NBA. It won't matter. He's got to take us closer to the promised land. But having said that, I give him an A-. It remains an A-. I thought he had a tremendous season. I love what Julius Randle did for us last year, especially the previous last season, how it went. So it's kind of like he had to climb the mountain back and then go above where he was the season before that. So this season was the best season of Julius Randle's career. And I 100% appreciate it. And I 100%, it was an A- for me, and that doesn't change. Still an A-.
Okay. Jeff?
My very first boss when I graduated college told me, you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't make both. And I feel like I'm starting to understand Julius Randle a little bit more. I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think that Julius is one of those players that if his offense is going and he's cooking, the rest of his game is going. You know, he's playing harder on defense. He's rebounding better. So I think his game, a lot of it is predicated on him playing well offensively. And I think that the ankle injury maybe took away some of that explosiveness and some of the things that make his offensive game crisp. And so then that trickled down into the rest of his game. Not using that as an excuse, that shouldn't happen. But I think that's the mentality that's of the player that we have. And if you'll notice, like when he's going off on offense, it's very rare that those are the games where he's lackadaisical on defense. Usually it's because his shot's not falling and he's complaining to the refs and this, that, and the third. And I don't want to get into that too much, but I do think that it's instructive. And I will say this, I would like to see a playoff Julius Randle with 100% health, where we don't where we don't have any excuses and just see what he does, and if he does the same thing. And the reason I say that is because playoff Jimmy wasn't a thing until it was. If you look at Jimmy Butler's early playoff performances for several years, not just one or two, they weren't that good, you know. And then all of a sudden, 4 or 5, 6 years down the line, he figured it out, and then he became this playoff monster. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Randle, but I think in order for that to happen with Randle, you kind of have to have him at some semblance of full strength so he can do Julius Randle things. Because, you know, and if you want to say, well, we don't need a player that's that fragile, okay, I'll buy that 100%. I'm not saying that, but he's the only all NBA player that we have on the roster. And with an injury, I don't think he's going to be the easiest person to move. And I don't think that Leon Rose and company are all that interested in moving him, to be honest with you. And so I think the reality of the situation is Julius is going to be here. And if he's going to be here, let's hope we get the best that we can out of him.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. Some people, the injury gets them down. And so the other parts of the game where they can contribute, they tend not to, because mentally they're just out of it. Whereas other people, I'm hearing some feedback. Others, when they get injured, it's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do what I usually do. What can I do? You know, I'm not gonna be able to score the way I usually score. What else can I do to help the team? And I think that's what I wasn't seeing from Julius Randle. But I will say this, and we got people in the chat already, you know, get rid of We don't need him. He's not a team player. I'm of the mind that we can win with Julius Randle on the team. I just no longer believe we can win with Julius Randle being number one in usage rate on the team. I just think he needs to be number 3 in usage rate. And number 3, listen, RJ was number 3 in terms of usage rate. I think he was 3rd in terms of how many shots he got per game, and he still averaged 20. And he wasn't even very efficient. So it's not like, if Julius Randle efficiency rate goes down, that he's going to be taking 6 shots a game. He's going to still get enough shots. He can still average 20 points, 10 rebounds. Maybe if his usage rate is lower, he'll have more energy, because I think that is part of it, to play better on the defensive end. I just don't think he can be the number 1 usage guy on the team, even the number 2 usage guy on the team. I just think he's miscast right now. And once we bring him down to his position where he needs to be, he's going to need to be, and you bring in somebody else better than him and Brunson, or as good as Brunson, and he's in that 3rd spot, beautiful. Because now you're not asking him to be a Jamal Murray or to be a Jokic. You're not. This is not the guy you're counting on game in and game out. This is your Drew Holidays. This is whoever the 3rd guy is on the team. And that's not to say that those guys can't have 30-point games. They can. But you not banking on it. It's not win or loss if they don't. You understand what I'm saying? And I just think that's a better role for Julius Randle. And that's on the front office. We said this last year. It's on the front office to bring in somebody better than him. But I just truly believe him and Brunson as your top 2 players is just not going to get it done.
Queen, I want to throw something out there. I think like Knicks fans, and I understand, like, we all get emotional, right? I mean, I think we're talking about, did our grades change for Julius Randle, because of the injury? Oh, get rid of him. He's not a team player. That's besides the point. I think we did have a different conversation, and I'm sure we're probably going to have a keep him or dump him more, along, and then we could talk about that. But basketball wise, it would be front office malpractice to just get rid of Julius Randle. I mean, statistically, right, the guy's one of the best power forwards in the NBA, right? He's done things this year that only 3 guys have done. Him, AD, and Antetokounmpo. Okay, I mean, it would be crazy for the front office to just get rid of him. It just doesn't make any sense. So right, we're shouting things that don't make any sense. There's no basketball logic in the stuff that we're saying. Okay, so you want to get rid of him? Bring a package that makes basketball sense. That there's a structure that will make sense for us to just get rid of him. It doesn't work that way. So, Knicks fans, we're supposed to be smarter than the rest of them. Let's say smarter things instead of just get rid of him. It doesn't work that way.
Right. Definitely.
But I just want to add something. I just want to add something to that Jeffrey said. I agree with him too. I want to see a healthy Randle with 2 years of experience of playoff basketball, so we don't have to make any excuses. I'm definitely down to see what that looked like, right? And to see if he has the potential of elevating his game. Now, I don't agree in a sense where to say he's a 2 or 3, because he's going to have some series where he can be the main dominant player of that particular series. So I'm not going to say, well, he's maybe an option 2 or option 3. The series he could dominate a position, a person's position, and win us that series like Mitch did in the Cleveland series, and then in Miami he disappeared. So I'm not going to put Julius in that category. I'm going to just say that when he's needed to give us what he needed, what will we need him to do, probably to dominate that particular player in that position and get us rebounds, I would say that. But I'm not going to categorize him and put him if he's a number 2 or number 3. I think I'm kind of past that now, because even though if you bring in another player, that player mightn't have a good night, and Julius might have a good night, and he may be the number 1 or the number 2. So but with that notion said, I agree with Jeffrey. I want to see what it looked like with a healthy Randle and 2 years of experience of playoff, to see in that third year what he can do with no excuses. Yeah, because I'm kind of tired of the excuses now too. The first one, we had no shooters. The second one here is an injury. So I'm hoping this third time we get to see that without any excuses.
Yeah, I listen, he's played, I agree with that. He's played 15 playoff games. You look around and you see some of these guys, even if the team doesn't make it to the semis or the Eastern Conference Finals, they're in the playoffs year after year after year. Even if they get out in the first, if they lose in the first round, they're still getting that experience. So they have 30 games experience, 35 games experience. Julius Randle has 16 games of playoff experience. I get that. But the more you've been in the league, the more it just kind of, the shape of the type of player you are begins to take fold. And I think when I'm thinking about championship teams, I'm not thinking about the stats. I'm thinking about the floor game and the mentality you have to play on that level and to be one of those top guys. It's not just about the stat. Like when I looked at RJ, what was impressive about RJ? Yeah, I mean, you can look at the stats, you can look at the scoring, but his floor game, he made the right passes. He just played in the flow of the game. Randle will have games in which his floor game is he's just making the right passes, making the right moves. And then he'll have possessions where, what was that? Like, what was that? So we'll see. I'm just talking about him just growing as an all-around basketball player, not just the stats. The higher the level is that you go to in the semis, the Eastern Conference, the finals, it's just a different level. You got to be smart. You have to be a smart player, because they're taking things away from you. And you got to be able to read different defenses. You got to be able to react quickly. You got to be able to make the right play. I just don't see Julius being that guy. I just feel like, I'm not saying he can't be on the team. Don't get me wrong. And I agree with you, Stafford. There will be games in which he is the leading scorer. That happens on any team. There'll be series in which he's the best player in the series. I agree with you. That does happen. But if I'm constructing a team and I'm looking at this roster and I'm thinking I have championship aspirations, I'm thinking I got to bring in somebody better than Randle, better than Brunson, or at least as good as Brunson. You got to have two of those guys. Anyway, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to get moved. I don't think he's going to get moved. One, it's difficult to move him. Two, who are you moving him for? But put on your roster construction hats. If you had to, are the Knicks a better team with RJ Barrett at the 3 and another power forward? Or are the Knicks a better team with Randle at the 4 and another small forward? Because I will hold to my guns that this roster, the way it is, that starting lineup is mad clunky. Like that starting lineup right there, it's too many guys that want to barrel to the basket, not enough shooting. You get Mitch in there as well. I like what he does on the defensive end most of the time, but he's just an offensive liability, including free throws. So your choice. We'll start with you, Ajay. Let me see. If it came down to it, in terms of constructing the roster, I get it. I get it. Everybody's going. This is an exercise. Everybody in the chat probably getting all up in arms. This is an exercise. What's going to make this team better if we had the opportunity to move Randle for another power forward, keep RJ Barrett, or keep or the opposite? I forgot what I just said.
Or keep Randle and move RJ. That's what you said, right?
Right. And I'm thinking a championship contending roster. And JJ said he's okay trading both of them.
Well, hey, that wasn't one of the choices, but
in terms of us being a better team, what would make us a better team?
Man, that's tough. What would make us a better team right now? Oh my queen, why you have to start the tough one with me, man?
You want me to go the other way?
Nah, I'll take man. Listen, basketball wise, if we base on this season, right? This season that just ended, it would probably, and we want to win, like we want to win right now or soon, or like let's say this next season we want to win. What would give us a better chance of winning is
into the Eastern Conference Final. What gives us a better?
The better chance to go to the Eastern Conference Final is to probably keep Julius Randle and trade RJ Barrett. And that's tough for me because me personally, to build sustainable winning, I think it would make more sense to keep RJ Barrett because, I mean, and I'm not trying to say both here. My answer to your question is trade RJ Barrett, keep Randle if you want to win next season. But I'm just putting, bringing a little light on the other side of that. If RJ Barrett will probably have a higher ceiling than Julius Randle overall.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. I think
see All-Star, All NBA in RJ Barrett's career.
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
He's 22, man, and he's yes. I could see that in his future. But if we want to win now, it makes more sense. It makes more basketball sense to keep Julius Randle. Let's not listen. We like RJ Barrett, but this past season, RJ Barrett has been the weak link all season long. He showed up in the playoffs. But if it was up to RJ Barrett, we wouldn't even make the playoffs because he didn't show up all season long. Okay, Julius Randle was the complete opposite. He was there all season long, but didn't show up in the playoffs. So if we want to win immediately, we want to win next year, it'll probably make more sense to, trade RJ Barrett and bring in another 3 and keep Julius Randle.
Okay.
Nah, I see B-ball. I did that first thing I got on, man.
I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the one that's gonna bring me the most of this team to fill out gaps. Whichever one of them guys is gonna allow me to, do more for the team, that's the one I'm gonna get rid of. But be honest with you, if I'm in GM mode, you know what I'm saying, with the team, I'm getting rid of 3 guys on the starting 5. That's just me personally. I know what I would like to do or what I would swing for, you know what I'm saying, off top. But I would get rid of RJ because RJ is going to bring me more to the table. If I could take this all-star guy and this 2-time all-NBA player and make him into a third option, I believe him playing as a third option to give me more than what RJ would give me. You know what I'm saying? RJ is normally going to the bench 6-7 minutes into the game, and he comes back in with the second unit, and the unit still really, not really giving me like they plan for RJ. He doesn't give me what the plan is supposed to be for RJ. But all that youth and all that, I'm so done with that because age just doesn't even matter right now. It's not gonna be long before they let them young boys in this league. And right now, man, you got young guys right now that are, that's 20 years old that'll tear RJ up out the frame. You know what I mean? So age. I can't keep sitting and waiting around for somebody to get it. You know what I'm saying? When you're the third option, when you don't have to check the best offensive player no more, when you're not getting played by at least the top one or two defensive player from the other teams. You're supposed to be in complete cook mode. You know what I'm saying? But back to it. RJ's probably going to be the one that's going to bring us more to the table. Number one, what he did, how he performed in the playoffs, what he took off game 3 in the Cleveland season all the way up until game 6 against Miami. Between what's that 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He gave us 8 games in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? He gave us 8 games. That's enough, you know what I'm saying, for his stock to be way up, way higher than what Julius is and everything. Because what you do in the regular season don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Right now, everybody wants to be in championship mode, playoff mode. That's what people want to see. Can you handle the main pressure? And RJ looked like he handled some pressure, you know what I'm saying? But it's just that I don't think like I'm with Queen. I don't think he can be a all-star, a 2-time all NBA player. I don't think he can get there because his game doesn't ask for him to do that. You know, it's too many things that he has to be able to do inside his game that'll take him to those levels, you know. I mean, look, you gotta look. I mean, look at the numbers that Brunson just put up. He didn't even make All-Star, so he ain't even compared nothing to Brunson. So you know, I just don't see it with RJ, as far as being 2-time All-Star and All NBA player. But I believe he's gonna give me the most and bring to the table. But if I can't throw it out there, if I had my way, it'd be RJ and four picks, and maybe somebody else swinging for the fences for that guy over there across the bridge over there in Brooklyn. Then I might come back, you know what I'm saying? Josh Hart, you got your ties and everything. You got your connects. You talk about your connect. Can you go get Grant? Tell Grant that can come over here to New York. Maybe I could do a sign and trade with Julius and that guy. You know what I'm saying? Jeremy Grant. Because he doesn't want to be there. And then I might just go ahead and swing for the fences and go get Ayton with Mitch because they need to free up cap space. Those would be my 3 new guys on this team. You know, if I was in GMO and I could swing how I want to swing, that's what I'd be going for. Because the East is pretty weak. It's up for grabs next year. It's up for grabs. Teams that was in front of us, they're getting weaker. And it's up to the middle of the pack to rise up or the middle of the pack to fall back. And the ones that fall back to move up to where the middle one's at and get in that same position where we was in to try to see if they could get 10 games all close to the parade in their city. It was far this year, man. But yeah, that's my thing with them.
Yeah, that's some good points there, Jeff. Oh, Stafford, sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's RJ for me because I feel like we need more shooting, and RJ doesn't have that outside shooting that we need consistently. I feel like if Randle gets double teams mostly and he kick it out and that particular 3 and he's hitting it consistently, I think Randle usages goes down and his turnovers goes down. So I believe that if we get a shooter at the 3, you know, that relieves a lot of pressure off of this offense also too. So my thing is we keep Randle and trade RJ and Jay Boogie. I know you say if he was a GM, you'll be swinging for those fences, but I don't think Ayton pushes the needle for us also too. I don't think that other guy that you said also too. That's just my opinion. I don't think who was the second person you said?
I heard Jeremy Grant. Was there somebody else he said?
Bridges,
Jeremy Grant. Yeah, he hasn't really proven anything to me because he tried to be the man in Detroit, and it didn't work. It didn't work out, and then he went to Portland, and it didn't work out there either. So I don't know what if he comes over here, it may move the needle. So no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But yeah, I'm keeping Randle.
I will say this though. I think anybody can work in a lineup depending on what those other pieces are. So I agree with you. Jeremy Grant is not as good a player as Julius Randle. And I don't like the fact that he can't rebound. I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned. I just need rebounds from, my power forward. However, if you're getting rebounding from the rest of the guys on your team, like it depends on who those other four guys are. Jeremy Grant could work, right? But who are the other four guys on the roster, right? It can't just be switch out Randle for Jeremy Grant. Like that's not going to work. But Jeremy Grant could work depending on what the other four look like. I do like the fact that he defends his position, and I do like the fact that he can play some three. I don't think he is a three. I think he's more a four, but I believe he can play. He can play the three. So he does give you some positional versatility. But yeah, just a straight up swap, I don't think we are a better team. Jeff?
A wise young woman once told me that she didn't ever think that RJ was going to be a shooter. And I think I agree with that. And the reason I bring that up is if you look at what RJ does well, it's really his ability to get downhill. That is his one elite skill. Now, what he does once he gets downhill is anybody's guess. He's not an efficient player, and I think that his inefficiencies combined with the fact that he's not a great defender. I think he's a potentially good defender, but he's not there yet. And he's only 22, but he's an old 22. He's been in the league for 4 years. Who does he guard well? I mean, he doesn't really guard threes. He doesn't really guard twos. So, to me, I don't know how big his upside really is. I know a lot of people I've heard compare, say Jimmy Butler. I don't see that. He doesn't shoot the ball well. I just hesitate to see long term, and he doesn't fit well with Brunson and Randle to me. And so if one of them has to go, I think you keep the guy who has more gravity. And Randle's gravity helps out the offense a lot. Even if he's not making shot, he's going to draw two people to him. And he's a better passer than people give him credit for. I mean, he's averaged 5 assists per game. His turnover numbers are probably a little bit high, but guess what? So are Julius Randle's. So are RJ Barrett's rather. So are RJ Barrett. So to me that makes it where if that's the choice and that's how it's framed, I think you get rid of RJ and you move forward. But I'll say this about all of these things. I don't mind getting rid of any of the players on the team not named Jalen Brunson, but I only really want to get rid of them if the move that we're making is a clear upgrade.
Right.
In other words, I don't mind using our assets to make the team better, but I don't want to just make a lateral move, and I don't want to sell these guys just to get them out of here, Right. And that may sound kind of obvious too, but I think a lot. Sometimes you say addition by subtraction or whatever. I don't think that's the case with any of these guys that we're going to talk about here tonight. I think they're all good basketball players, and I think they all can have roles on quality teams. It's just a question of is this that team?
That's a great point, and I agree with you. I'm not just I don't like people think Randle is like a cancer. Oh, we just got to get rid of him. No matter what. If we just get back a second round draft pick, no. For me, my hope is that he just moves down in the pecking order just a little. That's it. Because to me, he's just not a guy that can operate well under pressure consistently. And I'm not talking about, listen, everybody will turn the ball. Brunson turns the ball over in key spots. He might have one turnover. It's a key one in a key spot. I see you, Brunson. I like you, but I do see them turnovers in those key spots like game 6. You know? So everybody has that. I just think it's too much for Randle. I think Randle would welcome. I know some people in the chat was like, will he accept the lowest usage rate? Would he accept being the third, having the third highest usage rate on the team? I think he would. I don't think he had any problem with Brunson coming in, taking some of the shine.
Exactly.
I didn't see any issue. I think some guys, some players, girls or guys, know they not that. I think they know where they would be best. And I think Randle knows. I think he would welcome, let's just say if Paul George was 28 years old. I think he would welcome that. I think he knows. I don't think he really wants to be in those situations late in the shot clock, late, in crunch time. I think he would welcome that. So I know a lot of people, a lot of fans think that, he would rebel against it. He doesn't want it. I think he would. Right. And this is
Queen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When Jay Boogie was talking about GM, you know who the person that I would go for to put in that 3 spot? Even though he's an older player, right? This is just me. Besides Mikal Bridges, who I would love on this team, the other person I will go for that I think that will fit in seamlessly with this team, even though he's a little injury prone, he's like 33 years old, I'll go after PG. I can't believe I'm saying it. Shout out to White Falcon 44, because he's been saying PG 13 from a long time ago. So in my opinion, I think a person like PG, who is a two-way player that can hit the 3, can defend, and I think he will learn. I think he will put Randle at a third option and take off some of that pressure. He's a little older. I think he pushes the needle a little bit, right? But I think I will go for Paul George.
But then you got to ask yourself, what are you moving? Because he makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm moving RJ.
That's not going to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna have.
Of course he's going to sweeten the pot, Jay Boogie. I'm just saying, that's who I will swing for if I need a small forward, a shooter, and put him in that position. I know we got to sweeten the pot. I know just RJ swap is not enough, but I'm just saying I would like Paul George in that position right there.
How far are you willing to go? And Paul George is somebody who gets hurt a lot, and that's the issue they having over in Cleveland. Excuse me, and the Clippers, that they get to the playoffs, and they between Kawhi, Paul George, one or both of them are just not available. But let's just say he's healthy. How far are you willing to go to get him? Because it's going to take more, in my opinion, than RJ Barrett and some draft picks. How far would you be willing to go?
Boy. I mean, I would try to see if probably I could sign him. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Can hear you.
Oh, okay. I will probably try and sign him for a 2-year deal for that window and see what could happen.
Who are you willing to give up, though? How far are you willing to go in terms of assets to get him? Because you're right, we are talking about probably a 2-year window, and even in those 2 years, we don't even know how many games he's going to play. But even with the injury history, I don't think his price comes down that much.
I think I think he's already signed. He signed a new one last year. I think he got like $200-something million, somewhere around there already. I think second year like that or something like that. He got 100, or he got 194 year. One of those two.
Yeah. So where are we going with that? Come on, man.
Yeah.
200 million. Where we going?
Yeah, I think he would be perfect if he's healthy. If he was healthy, he would be the perfect type of guy. And he can handle the ball. He could play defense. He can, he can shoot on all three levels. But I don't want to trade for an injury for a guy who can't stay, can't stay on the floor. That's the only issue that I have with Paul George. But this is JJ. Steph, does Randle fit as a third option? I like my third option to be effective off ball. Randle needs the ball to be most effective. I still think he would have. Look at RJ. How many shots does RJ get in this offense? He gets a lot of shots in this offense. So I don't think. I think it would be fine. I think if you have Brunson and you got a star wing, if you were able to get one, I think Randle would still get shots. I think there's times when you would go to him in the offense as well. Does he need to be? He will have the ball to be effective. Like the third option, you're right. He's not going to be somebody just standing in the corner waiting to hit a shot off the catch. No, he's still gonna get the ball. How many shots did RJ get this year? Like 18 shots a game or something like that?
It was over 15.
Yeah, over 15 shots a game. Randle can get that, and Randle is more efficient than RJ Barrett, so he may still be 20 and 10. But anyway,
Quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something on so Paul George's contract, right? He gets next season he gets 43. He gets 45.6 million, and he's got a play option the year after. So next year would really be. Well, I'm sure he'd probably take the play option. So we'd have him for 2 years for about $100 million.
Yeah.
Right.
What's his player option?
The play option is 48.7 million in 24-25. Which I'm sure he'll pick up.
Right.
Especially with the way his health has been going.
Yeah, he's going to pick that up. You've seen Rush pick that up. You've seen John Wall pick that up.
Yeah.
Right. He's going to pick that up.
He's going to pick that up.
I would say that man's getting $100 million for 2 more years.
Yeah.
Might as well say that.
Right.
You're going to gut the roster.
He still gets
and Queen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, go ahead.
Just to answer that question before I got cut off, I think we could make an Eastern Conference Finals with him. That's how far I'm looking. I think he could push the needle there.
I agree with you. If he's healthy, he has this piece. The perfect.
A healthy Paul George.
And that's what and it's a gamble, and it's a huge gamble. Not just money wise, but in terms of the assets, because I don't think Cleveland. I mean, I keep saying Cleveland. The Clippers are going to lower the price.
I know. I keep
because he has an injury history. I don't think they're going to be like, no, he's damaged goods. He's always injured. Give me a little less. I still think they're going to ask for a lot.
Queen, you've been moonlighting in the Cleveland show. That's why I keep saying Cleveland.
I was about to say the same. Oh, man.
Sherwin is pushing for Miles Bridges. I like Miles Bridges. I just don't think he's that guy. I don't see him as a small forward. To me, he's a power forward.
He played the 3.
He played
Miles
both.
Bridges?
Yeah, he played the 3.
Okay.
What's his name? I can't forget it. I can't think of his name. The other guy that came from Kentucky, he played the power forward.
Washington?
PJ Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's only like 6'6".
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like 6'5".
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Jarrell, I would pass on Miles Bridges, and not even because of the draw. I believe in second chances. It's not even, it's just not. I just don't see his skill set as being. I just don't think he's there yet. In terms of what we need at that position. But I like him though.
When you say not there yet, you mean like if he was replacing Randle or RJ? No.
I just feel like we need a star.
Oh, okay.
I just don't think he's at that level. That's on a star level. I just feel like we need a star. But is he better than RJ Barrett? I think he's better than RJ Barrett.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think clearly the answer for everybody here is to keep Julius Randle and try to shop RJ if we had a choice. Because RJ, I mean, to be honest, he just hasn't shown us maybe enough of what we think he can be, and we don't know what he's going to be yet. We don't know if RJ is a 2 or 3, or if he's neither. Like we really don't know that yet. So we know what Julius Randle is. We know he's an all-star. Now the question mark for him is his playoff play. So yeah, I'm keeping Julius Randle for those reasons.
I think this is one of the few times we all agree. It's one of the few.
That's why, like at this point, like everybody went. Not saying that you guys were going to say what I was going to say, but I mean, it's almost like an obvious choice at this point. Like I think most GMs will pick Julius Randle over RJ anyway. I mean, the only reason you might pick RJ at this point is because of age. And for us, like Jay Boogie said it best, I don't think age should be a factor when it comes to our team. Now, where we were the youngest team in the playoffs this year anyway. Julius Randle still isn't 30, so I don't think age should be a factor.
Right.
Not this time.
Right. And the only reason I'm saying keep Randle, trust me, the more I watch Randle, the more I see his limitations.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm keeping Randle because in my head, he's moving down. Moving down.
Right.
If you have 2 players on your team better than Randle, that's what I'm looking for. Now I think you have a championship contending team. All he has to do is score, rebound, and hopefully with his usage rates down, he can play better defense. But I don't think a lot of it is that he's tired. I think some of it is tiredness, and I think some of it is that he's just inconsistent in terms of making that commitment on the defensive end. And I'm not sure that is going to change. But if you put him in a position where you're not counting on him game in and game out, I think you're going to be fine. But if he's in a position where you're counting on him game in and game out, I don't have a lot of faith in that. So the only reason I would say it is for 2. 1, Randle not where he is now, lower usage, and I just don't have a lot of faith in RJ Barrett's developing a jump shot, and that's the only issue I have with RJ Barrett. If you told me right now RJ Barrett would develop a consistent jump shot and he would be shooting 39-40% from 3, then I'm choosing RJ Barrett over Julius Randle. I just don't see that happening, and I just feel we need shooters. We need guys at that 2 and 3 position that can knock down a shot. And here's one other instance in which I would choose RJ Barrett. You have a spacing center, and everybody else can shoot. Your 1 could shoot. Your 2 can shoot. You have a shooting power forward. You have an offensive-minded center. I think you can get away with 1 guy on your team who's not a great shooter. He's a slasher, right? So if we can construct a team like that, then I think RJ Barrett would be fine. But with Mitch, you can't have two players in the starting lineup that can't shoot the ball.
In a perfect world, we would probably want to be like our roster constructed like Denver. Obviously not getting a joker because that's like an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Right. He's a unicorn. But everybody on the floor at any given time, if you watch Denver play, everybody can shoot at each position. I mean, he's a big part of that because he plays the 5, and it's hard to find 5s that can shoot. But even Gordon can shoot a 3. Like everybody from 1 to 5 can shoot. Even people coming off the bench. They got Jeff Green shooting 3s.
Right.
Like we need somebody at least like that.
Yeah. I would like Jeff Green. I don't know if he's on a 1-year contract.
Right.
But in a perfect world, I would like Jeff Green playing behind Randle.
Right. He would take OB's spot immediately.
12 minutes. That's it.
Right.
That's all we need. 10, 12, 10, 12 minutes.
Right.
That's a guy that knows understand his role. And don't
Right.
be more than what his role allow him to be, because he's not it. You know what I'm saying? And you heard that guy, you heard him barking last night. And you heard what the announcer said. You don't have to be a coach to make yourself known on the bench.
Right.
And you don't have them type guys at all. Period. I'm just, venting for a little bit because we talked about Jeff Green. Derrick Rose, you over there with your legs stretched all the way out. And we don't have nobody talking, saying nothing. You know what I mean? We need guys like that. And I'm safe for later on. I'm safe for later on.
Right. B baller for real. Change out Obi for Jeremy Grant. And I don't like a Brunson Quickley backcourt. We're gonna get to this right now. But if you trade out Obi for Jeremy Grant and Ayton, RJ,
that still ain't winning nothing though.
Yeah,
I think that'll get us
because there's no star power. We need a You're right. Brunson needs a running.
That's not even beating the Orlando. That's not even beating Orlando.
We would beat Orlando. Come on.
Hopefully.
That's why I put Mikal Bridges and then Jeremy. And then just that three right there, that's a whole different demeanor as far as wingspan all the way across the board. You check the wingspans amongst them, but not just Jeremy Grant and Ayton. No. Bridges is an up and coming star. Bridges looked like a healthy Kawhi Leonard. And I know when Kawhi went to Toronto, a lot of people didn't know Kawhi could do what he could do. He's playing inside a system. That's what Bridges is doing, playing inside a system. You ain't know his game because he's trapped behind all them other guys. But now you see his game. That dude is serious.
It's two wings that I think that completely changes this team. Bridges and Ingram from New Orleans. Brandon Ingram completely changes this team.
Jarrell
at the three.
Jarrell, do not get Queen started. Do not get her started with this Brandon Ingram stuff.
It completely changes the team, man.
That's my guy, but he's Paul George light in terms of the injury, But I like
But at least he young and get hurt though. It's a difference.
Yeah,
it's a difference when you're young and get hurt.
But the Corey Lee, Corey Lee, I got a good sense of humor. You catch me on a good night too. Please change your prescription in your glasses. RJ Barrett will be fine. It's my cataracts. Okay, all right. Yeah. I'll say this. The Nets are not trading. I just feel like Bridges is a pipe dream, and I think Jaylen Brown is a pipe dream as well. I just do not think Boston or Brooklyn is trading with the Knicks.
Wouldn't make sense for either one of them to do that for us,
or Philly with Embiid. I just don't think they would trade.
It's not gonna happen, man. Those GMs would get fired. Like owners be like, you know what, you got to go.
Right. B-baller for real. I'm with you. Bridges is unattainable. Like, it's just not going to. It's just not going to happen.
Hold up, Queen. Hold. Is the like button not working?
Get him, Matt J. Get him.
I understand how we got 40 likes and we got 110 people in chat and 40 likes. Like, is the button not working?
Right.
Check it, people. Check it. Click. Let me see if it works.
Right.
Come on now.
Vince Jackson. Nobody is saying Jeff Green is the missing ingredient. We're just saying 12 minutes behind Julius Randle. I'm not saying he's a missing ingredient.
Right.
And I think he would be, he would be cheap. And I do agree that Grant is a major downgrade from Randle statistic wise. But you're going to get that hustle every night. You're going to get that defense every night. You're going to get that positional versatility every night. I don't think he's a good 3-point shooter, but someone pointed out that he shot well from 3 last year. I just don't remember him being a really good.
He's just not a number one. And that's where a lot of people lost and confused his game with when he was in Detroit. He wasn't a number one. He just went to go get some money. He probably know he should have stayed with Denver, but he wanted to put some money in his pocket. He went over there to Detroit, and he was not a number one. But his numbers went back up when he was playing in Portland when Dame, he was playing alongside Dame. Remember one time, we was the top we had the top 3 highest scores. But when Dame came back, they had the top 3 highest scores with Dame, Simon, and Jeremy. He's just not a number one. And over here, he wasn't number one again. You know what I'm saying? But you don't just want
Boogie, I gotta disagree with you, man. I gotta push back on that, man, because Denver wanted to give Jeremy money. Jeremy said he wanted to be the man. That's why he went to Detroit, to be the number one. I mean, all the excuses for him, man. I know he's a nice, versatile player, but I'm not buying that, bro. I'm not buying that.
But that may have been why he went there. But it's discovered that he's not a number one. That's okay. He's still a really good player. If he came to the Knicks, we wouldn't be counting on him to be a number one, just like we're not counting on Randle to be a number one.
Last year, Jeremy
he would just
Grant,
be a piece of the cog. Yes.
I was just gonna say last year, he started and played in 63 games, almost 36 minutes a game, 47% from the field, 40% from 3, and averaged 20. He averaged 20.5 points. He shot almost 6 threes a game. So
that's bona fide. He bona fide.
He's gone.
And he makes free throws. And that's
but look at the difference though. He had Dame, and he had Anthony. So he had help. He had no help in Detroit. He had to be the number one over there. Yes, he's not a number one, but went to Detroit. That was his main thing, to be the number one. But it just never worked out. I get what you're saying, Queen, and I get what you're saying, J Bugs. But the notion to say that how, he just went over there for a bag. Yes, I get it, but no, he wanted to be a number one. He wanted to be that guy.
He went over there for that bag. That money was not interfering with the Joker's check. Did you see what the Joker got?
Right.
That wasn't interfering with his check. That's why they got rid of him.
Right. But I think if I remember correctly, I think Denver offered him the same or close to the same.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right.
But shout out to Nikki B from Harlem. I appreciate you always supporting on the channel. Let's get them likes up. Yes, definitely. That definitely helps the algorithm. So please do that. What did he shoot from the free throw line, and how many rebounds did he get per game?
Free throw line 81%. Rebound 4.5.
Yeah. That's what's killing me. The 4.5 rebounds. But if you put him next to,
he's a tweener. Like, to me, he's a small forward / power forward, not the other way around. At least to me. But I mean, from the way he shoots and the way he plays, if you actually look at his game, he could play either or. Like, say if we wanted to get rid of Julius Randle or RJ from the last exercise, he could replace either one of them. It's just that the other player will have to, do their job.
Right. So you're right. It's about who you pair him with. So you would definitely have to pair him with a really strong rebounding center.
Right.
If he was checking the best perimeter player, he's nowhere by the rim. He can check the 1, 2, 3, and the 4.
And you know what? When you're thinking about making the team better, sometimes, I would have never thought about Jeremy Grant only because of the rebounding. But when you read off the stats and then you talk about his positional versatility, sometimes we may not get somebody as good as Randle, but you might, better than Randle, but you might get somebody just underneath him statistically, but they bring more of what your team needs. Because if he can play the 3 and the 4, and he can defend the 3 and the 4, and he can shoot the 3 at 40%, Now, to Stafford's point, I agree. He's not a number one. He's not a number two. But I don't think Randle is that either. So you're talking about the third best player on the team. And somebody who can
I will put him next to Randle. If he's shooting 40% from the three, I'm putting him next to Randle. I'm putting him at the small forward. Because so you got to deal with Jason Tatum. You got to deal with all these big wings, and he will be perfect for that position. And then even if we was to take out Julius Randle, we could just slide into the 4 and put somebody and put a backup right there to back him up as small forward. So I will bring him in and put him next to Randle. You know what I mean? And then with those threes that he'll be shooting, we got 2 strong defensive rebounders or offensive rebounders at the rim with Mitch and Randle. So I think it'll work out. Yeah. My opinion.
Somebody else said, I thought this is a good point. Does Grant create double teams? Now that's the other thing with Randle. But again, in a perfect world,
he's the third option.
He's the third option. You know, so you're gonna have 2 other players on the team with gravity. Because I think that was the thing. Randle does have a lot of gravity. They double him. But if you're bringing in somebody else better than Randle and Brunson, better than Jeremy Grant and that player is going to have gravity as well. So Brunson doesn't need, Jeremy Grant doesn't need to have as much gravity. And Julius Randle, you know, if he does have gravity, that's great. But if he's not.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because if Julius Randle was the third option on this team, he wouldn't get doubled either.
Right.
I don't know that many third options getting doubled.
A 3-and-D blue collar guy will work on this team for sure. You can even look at Gordon. You know, it's guys that can help us at the 3. I heard so many people say they ain't like Gordon. So I wonder if they still say that now.
And that's a good point. Just because somebody hasn't been something up until this point doesn't mean they will never be that. And that's the same for RJ Barrett as well. Sometimes it's about finding your spot, finding the right coach, finding the right system, and then boom, you got a totally different player.
And I was just about to say that too. I feel like even though he mightn't create double teams, I feel like if Tibbs was to put him in the right position, he can create double teams because, you know, he started hitting that 3 and working the post and in and out. You know, he could develop into that player. As you said, Queen, it's all about finding your niche and the right team and the right coach willing to put you in that right position.
But Stafford, who you talking about? RJ or who you talking about? You said Tibbs don't put him in the right position.
Talking about Jeremy Grant. Talking about Grant.
Gotcha.
Oh, he's going in the right position because he does too many things on the floor that other guys he does too many things on the floor at the wing that our guys can't do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about Grant at the 3 position. Grant with Randle. That's a good point. All right, we ain't gonna never get to the next. All right. All right. Resign Quickley or Hart. Now the Knicks may sign both of them. You know, but if they had to choose, matter of fact, let me see if I can get this up here. Sorry, guys. All right, I wanted to just go over this real quick because I think this will have some impact on what the Knicks do this summer, definitely next summer. This is the collective bargaining agreement. So the salary cap next year is $134 million. You start paying a luxury tax at $162 million. If you go $7.5 million over the luxury tax, that's called the first line or the first apron, and there's penalties for that. I think. Hold on, Jeff. That might be you. Let me see. Okay. So you have your taxpayer mid-level exception is reduced to just $5 million, and you can only sign that guy to that player to a 2-year contract. You're unable to take back more money than you send out in any deal, and you won't be able to sign most players who get bought out. Right? That's if you that's if you're between 160 over 169 million. These are the penalties. If you go over that second apron, and I don't think that's going into effect next year. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's going into effect the year after, or some of the more punitive aspects is going into effect in the 2024-2025 season. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But if you go over 179.5 million, there's no mid-level exception. You can't include cash in a trade. You can't accept more salary in a trade than you send out. You can't put players together to make up the salary of the player you want to bring in. You can't trade your first round pick 7 years in the future. And if you're over that cap 2 times in a row, that pick moves to the end of the first round, no matter where you finish in the season. So it's pretty punitive. So this is what the Knicks have to keep in mind. I don't think that the Knicks are, matter of fact, I think I do have. This is the Knicks salary cap for 2023-24. We have Josh Hart here with the player option. That's in green.
Steph, this is beautiful.
Yeah, and then we got the team. Thank you, Derrick Rose with the team option. Obi Toppin. Well, those are, I mean, they're team options, but I'm pretty sure that the Knicks are gonna. What are those? What are those on when you're on the rookie scale contract? It's not an extension. There's a term for it, but those guys will be back.
You mean when they hit restricted?
No, you see they have Obi Toppin in blue, Emmanuel Quickley in blue, Quentin Grimes in blue. Those are team options, but on the rookies qualifying offer. Thank you, B Bowler, for real.
Got you.
So
got you.
They'll sign those qualifying offers. So I think the Knicks are going to be $2 million, $164 million. So they will be, if they don't do anything, if Josh Hart and Derrick Rose, if they don't do anything, they're already going to be, they're going to be fine at 100. So they won't even be over the first of 169. They're going to be fine. But you're going to sign Josh Hart. You're going to sign Quickley. You're going to let Derrick Rose go. If you can't move Fournier, you very well may be over the 169. If you're signing both of those players and you're unable to move Fournier, it can be an issue. Right? So anyway, I'm saying all of that because with the new collective bargaining agreement, the Knicks can't just be handing out contracts. You got Grimes coming up next year. So do you really want to be going over the first and second apron, locking yourself in to a team that's not even a championship contender?
Right.
So there's decisions that has to be made, and some fans are for resigning both Quickley and Hart. Some fans are for just signing one. So we'll go through that. Do you want to sign both of them? And in the next year or so, have to finagle the salary cap. And hold on, yeah. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Are you signing both or one? And if you had to sign,
you want us to go in a particular order?
Yeah, you can start your own.
All right. If I was running the Knicks, and I think they actually are going to sign both. Not saying that they're going to actually keep both going forward in years to come. They will sign both, but I see IQ being shipped off in some type of package for hopefully a superstar or some type of star to help us go forward in the playoffs. I see them signing both. I would sign both.
Okay. Staffer, let's come around the other way.
I say we sign both and take the risk of going into next season where Grimes have to prove himself that he could earn a second contract. So I'll go ahead and take that risk and have Grimes prove to me that he could step his game up to get paid. So if I gotta go over the luxury tax and get taxed because Grimes showed out next season and it was worth it financially, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm signing.
I mean, I don't think that. I think if the Knicks sign both of them, they won't be a tax-paying team. But it's just something to keep an eye on because next year you have to trade for Grimes. Then at some point you want to add a star, and then hopefully, you're going to have to move. You're going to have to move some salary out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Depending on how Grimes play, depends how we gonna pay him.
Right.
So, but I understand when you're saying we keep an eye on it still. But
right.
I think it all depends, on how he plays, how we gonna pay him, if we're gonna go over the luxury tax. If you get what I'm saying.
Right. Well, before we get to Jeff, let me just get my tomatoes out the. Let me get my tomatoes out the way. I'm signing Josh Hart, and I'm trading IQ. And let me just explain. IQ is the better player. I get it. IQ has the highest ceiling. I get it. But I think you can get something for IQ. How much do you want to pay IQ when he's playing behind Jalen Brunson, the 12 minutes Jalen Brunson doesn't play, and then he's playing the shooting guard as well in that second unit. And then he's playing, so there's times when he's playing instead of Brunson. This is how he gets his minutes, instead of Brunson and with Brunson, right? This is how Quickley is going to get his minutes. And I just feel like we can take Quickley, package him or a wing, and get a backup point guard to play 12 minutes, a game or something like that. And I'm really high on Josh Hart. I know people are down on him because of how he played in Miami, but I think people are forgetting how he played lights out versus Cleveland and how he played since he's been here with the Knicks. And I just think if you're a championship contending team, you need these elite role players on your team. And that's how I see him. I see him as an elite role player, and I see Quick as a better player. Don't get me wrong. This is about roster construction. This is not player for player. Quick is better than Josh Hart, but it's about constructing a roster. I see a role for Hart, and I just see we can use Quick's salary to get somebody else. But I'm not down on Quick at all. And if the Knicks decide to keep him and sign and trade Josh Hart, I'm not disappointed either. But go ahead, Jeff.
I like your opinion. I like it. I roll with
it. C Mac.
I think that we will re-sign them both. But I also think that one of the things that Brock Aller and company have been really good at is designing contracts that are movable. If you think about Julius Randle's deal, he didn't get anywhere close to the max after an all-NBA season. Got about half that, right?
Good point.
You're talking about Jalen Brunson's contract. Jalen Brunson's contract is descending in value. Right. Mitchell Robinson's contract is descending in value. The only one who got an ascending deal from this front office was RJ Barrett. And I think they're shopping him big time this summer. And so I think that I'm real reticent to trade Quickley because his on-off numbers are
amazing,
like ridiculously amazing.
Yeah.
+8. And I think that's a hidden stat So it really makes me nervous to part with that. But at the same time, I think Quickley wants to start, and he's not going to do that here. And so if he doesn't want to be a sixth man, then we're probably better off as from a roster construction standpoint of saying, okay, we're gonna move on from Quickley and package him with some of these other players and get someone maybe higher dollar, but that clears up some of that cap logjam.
Yeah, and Keith Turner, why would I move IQ for a wing and I still have RJ here? You might need both of them. You might have to put IQ and RJ in that package, depending on who the wing is. Boogie?
I'm not putting 144 million on my bench. So therefore, one of them has to go. I'm not doing it. And it's not going to help. It's not going to benefit us. So which one is going to give us more, you know what I'm saying, impact for the team? And they already talking about IQ. Phoenix is already talking about it. There's a lot of teams already talking about him. So we're going to – I look for them to do something with IQ myself, because that's a lot of money to have coming off the bench just with those two guys. If the lineup stays the same, you know what I'm saying, if it stays the same, you're going to have to give them guys, both of them guys, every bit of $18 million apiece. You're going to have to, you know, for them to even – especially for Josh to stick around. You know what I'm saying? He can go to quite a few places, and then I believe it is on the start of 2023-24 season that collective bargaining is going into effect. I think he's mentioned it also last night where he said he's trying to get that signed off amongst some other things. So if that does if it does go into effect, that helps out, because now that allows other teams to be jammed up with money too. So now you can put yourself in position where you say, go and find it. See if you can find it, and we can always match it if we like to match. But I hate for it to happen, because I thought, you know, IQ really didn't get a fair deal here. He kept playing him out of position, because IQ is a sharpshooter. He's a young Craig Hodges, and that still needs to develop. He's a catch and shoot guy. He's not a point guard. Too many times we try to make him into what he's really not. He didn't play that in college. He's a sniper. So with him not being able to play his position, you know, it's some other teams that know that I can find that door and he gonna knock it down. You know, so but now you got the Wildcats is Wildcats, but if you're not a Villanova Wildcat, that doesn't, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to accept the Kentucky Wildcat. And that's Jalen's man. This is his team. That's his man. And it's been said and spoken upon that they didn't bring Josh Hart here without a handshake saying that they're going to re-sign him. They already know shook on it. He know he ain't going nowhere. This is his place. This is his spot. And he fits the city. He fits the culture. He's still young. Him too, this was his first year in the playoffs. For those that want to ride him, he's never been in the playoffs before. So I thought he did pretty good at a lot of times, you know, and I think he gained a lot of experience where that's going to carry over into next season. But I look for only one of them to be here, and I look for it to be Josh Hart. You know, he's bigger and he's more aggressive. Now, if he can just develop that jump shot a little bit more, that catch and shoot a little bit more, then if he can raise it up to 39%, hey, we got a good one right there coming off the bench. But I'm not giving both of them dudes $72 million a piece coming off that bench at $18 million a pop a year. I can't do it. Not for bench role players. That's the type of numbers you give, you know what I'm saying? Your fourth option in the starting lineup. You know, so, but yeah, man, I look for Josh to be, I look for IQ to be gone. I hate it because I started him when he got here yelling, give him them keys. I started that. As soon as you give him them keys, even though Alfred Payton was here, you know what I'm saying? Give it to him. But we could never make him into a point guard because he's not a point guard. So that's my thing on them two guys. Josh Hart.
Queen, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Boogie.
Nah, that's my thing on them. But Josh Hart to be here and trade and see what I'm gonna get, you know, for far as IQ, which has a higher ceiling. I think he has a higher ceiling.
Yes. Yeah. I think he does too. But where's he gonna get the minutes? You know? Because to me, I see Grimes as a bench player too.
Right.
To me, I see Grimes coming off the bench. So you got Grimes coming off the bench, you got Hart coming off the bench, you got IQ coming off the bench. I just feel like we can get more for IQ, but he's a better player than Hart. So I don't want people thinking we crazy that that Hart is better. And even if he is better, he's better now. I still think IQ has a higher ceiling. And I know Boogie, you mentioned Hart getting a jump shot. At this point, you don't think he is who he is? He's been in the league, what, 7 years now? Has it been that many?
Yeah, I mean, he's been here, you know, he ain't been here that long.
7 years? Not seven. Okay, maybe so 5.
Somebody in the chat help us out. You know, if you don't hit the like button, help us out with that. You know, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think he's ever been asked really to be a shooter in the position that he's been playing in before other teams. It's just a blue collar, dirty work type guy.
Right.
You know, that's his role. So, you know, of course, if people investing $18 million into you and you just come off in 12-9, you know, of course, you're going to be asked to do more than just, you know, be a blue collar. You have to be able to knock down some of these shots now. So get in that gym and get that jumper going. We know you can go coast to coast. We know you can drive, beat somebody off the dribble in the half court. We know you can, you top-notch rebounding guards. We know you can do that. We know you ain't scared, and we know you'll defend a bigger player. Those things you already got, but you're going to have to do something else to add to your game, and I think the jump shot is the only other thing that he can add to his game to make him better.
Do you think if IQ was Grimes size and thickness, girth, would you choose IQ over Grimes? Because to me, the only issue with IQ playing the shooting guard position, he has the wingspan. Is just and he's a really good perimeter defender. It's just that it's only but so many players you can play him on. You know, you can definitely play him on a point guard, but on a 2 guard, you know, you could probably play him on a 2. You could play him on a 2 as well. But if IQ was a little bigger, I think I would choose IQ.
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking IQ because I get more from IQ. They both can play defense, but if IQ is the same size as him and playing D, I'm taking IQ over him because IQ is not he's not scared of his shots. He'll come down and pull up from half court, logo.
Yeah,
he'll pull up. Grimes is still, you know what I'm saying, tentative about his shots, and that's why I said I don't want to see Grimes come back. You know what I'm saying? Can he get shots? I want to see Grimes come back taking shots. You know what I'm saying? And Grimes is hesitant about taking his shot or taking his man off the dribble and stuff like that. IQ not. You know, he will take his man off his dribble a little bit. He will go to the rim, a little floater, left hand shot, right hand shot, or stop and pop free throw line. He has developed those, you know, those things, and we're still hoping that Grimes can get that. But if Grimes is not willing to take his own shot, you know, outside of them passing him the ball, no, I'm not taking him over IQ, and they're the same height. No.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody else? Ajay, did you get a chance to weigh in on Grimes and Hart? Stafford, did you?
No, but I'll make it real quick. Like I'd like to keep both of them, but if one of them gonna be traded, just like you said, it's gonna be IQ because we can get more for him. We could speculate. We could be sure. Like a lot of teams are calling about IQ, calling about his availability, calling the Knicks, find out what they could get. If they'd be interested in trading him. I don't think anybody's calling about Josh Hart. Right. Not that he's not good. It's just that they're not. They're probably more interested in what IQ could bring, as a floor general. They see like you said, IQ is more talented. He's a better player than Josh Hart at this point in his career. So they're probably calling about him. So they're probably willing to offer more for him. But if we have to trade one of them, it would definitely be IQ because he's better, like you said.
Right.
And we can get more for him.
Right. But because he's better, we can get more. But I also think I want to say would we get more out of Hart than we would get out of Quickley in his role? No, because if we stick to a 9-man rotation, he's still going to get 30 minutes, just like he did last year.
Well, but that depends on the coach also, because Thibodeau will play Josh Hart 48 minutes like we've seen him do. He's not willing to do that with IQ. He's a little bit more reserved when it comes to those guys. So he trusts Josh Hart's experience or longevity in the league more than the other guys, I think.
But I think he played 30 minutes, IQ. No?
Oh yeah, he does. But when it comes down to it, if you tell Tibbs who's Tibbs gonna put in, it's gonna be Josh Hart, not IQ. If we down to like put one of those two guys for that last play of the game, he's probably going to put Josh Hart.
I think it depends on what we need, because I think he really trusts IQ. He trusts IQ from the.
He trusts Josh Hart more.
I think they're just situation. I think it depends on the situation, because if you need shooting,
depends on the moment.
Listen, man, you're gonna see next season, man. Josh Hart gonna be the new.
But Archie, you can't say that, because it had numerous times where that Quickley was out, and you had Grimes and Josh Hart, and then you had many times you seen the opposite. Then you know what I mean. So it as Queen said, it all depends on the situation, man, and the matchups. And Tibbs is a guy about matchups. So if that particular situation IQ is not in there, is because of the matchup. And that's what we've been seeing past season. I don't think Thibodeau is probably going to change.
Y'all going to see next season, Joshua going to be the new Alec Burks.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, he played both of them, actually. Like, didn't he play Quickley when we closed games? Was it Quickley and Hart?
Yeah, he played Quickley. But I think he's like, Josh Hart, Queen, how many times you said here, right? Remember last year when they got Cam Reddish? Like, we got ready to play who was not in the rotation. Where he gonna play? There's no room in the rotation for him. This year they got ready to play who's not in the rotation. The next day, Josh Hart was already playing. They found a spot for him in the rotation, right? So
over McBride, it was a low bar.
Yeah. So y'all gonna see. We know if we don't know Thibodeau by now, then we're never gonna know who Tom Thibodeau is.
But I don't even think I don't think one impacts the play of the other, because they play different. Because Josh Hart usually plays the 3 anyway.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Tom Thibodeau, he would be like up in arms against getting rid of Josh Hart if we have to. Like if let's say if you ask Tom Thibodeau like who you want to keep between those two, he would probably say Josh Hart. Probably. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Let's get to this one that I think is going to. Let me get this out of the way. Now, just thinking about the entire season, thinking about the playoffs, thinking about the matchup of thinking about the Eastern Conference. Going into next season, are you still starting Robinson or are you starting Hartenstein? I was looking up their rebounding rate. Isaiah Hartenstein's defensive rebounding rate is slightly better than Mitch. I wrote it somewhere. Oh, here it is. Hart is in the 95th percentile in offensive rebounding rate, and Robinson is in the 99th percentile. So it's and by percentile meaning only 5% of players in the league are better at offensive rebounding than Isaiah Hartenstein, and only 1% of players rebounding rate, because the rate takes into account how many minutes you play. Hartenstein doesn't play as many minutes as Mitch. And only 1% of players have a better rebounding rate than Mitchell Robinson. We know that. He's an elite offensive rebounder. And as far as defensive rebounding, only 18% of players have a better rebounding rate than Josh Hart, and 22% of players have a better rebounding rate. So basically, Josh Hart is a better defensive rebounder than Mitch, and Mitch is a slightly better offensive rebounder than Isaiah Hartenstein. We've seen that with the eye test. The thing about Mitch is when he gets his offensive rebounds, he put them right back up. Josh Hart, when he gets his offensive rebounds, basically
Hartenstein, not Josh Hart. Hartenstein.
When he gets the offensive rebound, for the most part, he passes it back out for a second opportunity. But let's talk about these two in the context of the offense that you're going to need, in my opinion, is not just Isaiah Hartenstein, the fact that he has a floater and the fact that he can pass. It's not even that. It's just the space that it opens up for the other players on the team. And I think in order to make that happen, you're going to need better perimeter defenders, right? He's just not the rim protector that Mitchell Robinson is. I think his pick and roll defense is fine. I think it's okay. I think he can block shots at the rim, but I don't think he's a deterrent. Like Mitch is a deterrent for guys going into the rim, going into the paint. Isaiah Hartenstein is not, right? But you're going to get the plus on the offensive end, just the space it creates for Brunson. When you look at the on-off numbers, everybody is better offensively when Mitchell Robinson is not on the floor. The defense is better. It's worse. It's better, obviously, when Mitch is on the floor. But the offense is much better. Brunson's offensive rating takes off, when Mitchell Robinson is not on the floor. And that's for most of the players on the team. So I think the question is, does what Isaiah Hartenstein brings in terms of his own offense and opening up the offense balances out what we're not going to get defensively? And I'm not even talking about rebounding in terms of like rim protection and keeping people out the paint. So for me, I think it will. I've seen him in the playoffs. He's a very good rebounder on both the offensive and defensive end. He can block shots. But what he does for us offensively, even at the free throw line, even though it's only 67%, I would take it. But I think it does mean that we need to get better perimeter defenders if we're going to go that route. So we're going to start with Jay Boogie, and we're going to go to Ajay, Jarrell, and then we're going to go with the two presidents of the Mitchell Robinson club last.
If we keeping our same offensive set, I'm staying with Mitch on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have a lot of cutting. We just got high pick and roll, one-on-one isolation going on. We don't have where's, you know what I'm saying, a good passer like Hartenstein should be on the floor and all that, cutting and all that going on. And then you got to have somebody that's really – I think he does a better job at backing up Brunson. You know what I'm saying? I think he does a better job of backing up RJ, defending the rim, than what Hartenstein can do. And more people would challenge Hartenstein before they challenge Mitch. They thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So, and even if they go down there with Mitch, they're not looking to challenge him. They're looking to see if they can drive and kick. But if I put Hartenstein in there and I put Mitch on that ground, you might as well on that bench. You might as well trade Mitch because he's gonna shut down. He's gonna want up out of there. He's gonna feel some kind of way and all that. And I'm not saying that we should keep him in the starting lineup to baby him, but that's just it just seemed like that's the type of guy that he is. You can look and see it one time before where Hartenstein was really outplaying Mitch, and it looked like he was starting to dig into some of his minutes and how Mitch was looking. You know what I'm saying, during the season. But I need somebody that's going to be defensive and protect that rim. I know that it's similar on rebounding except for the offensive rebound and the putback, but they similar as far as rebounding. But the protection of that rim, that fly swatter back there, that threat that don't come down here, I need that. And I think Hartenstein found his role really with them guys on the bench, where he was a little bit more talkative, like he was like the voice of them guys. You know what I'm saying? At times he was talking to them guys a lot more, and I like that. You need that with them guys when they get out of hand and get out of position. I don't see them tell Obi to stay here. When Obi try to take over and stay here and rebound, help me rebound. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna stick with Mitch over Hartenstein because we got two guys, on a clear out. They can't check nobody. They can't check nobody. And even when they are checking their man, people are finding them guys. They putting a high pick and roll so they man can switch off so they can, take advantage either Brunson or RJ. And so yeah, I need that guy back there backing them guys up.
If we keep the team the same, or what if we have perimeter defenders?
Oh, we got the perimeter defenders. I'm probably still going to stay the same anyway, because our offense ain't no different. It ain't no different. We still play isolation, high pick and roll, and then Hartenstein, when we thought he'd come here and shoot, the first couple of games, okay, we was like, wow, he will shoot the trade. Then he went away from that, but his passion, he got good passion that come from being in that offensive system with the Clippers. That Tyronn Lue, we're not running that, so, of course, the big man going to look pretty good in that system. He catching backdoor lobs, he catching roll to the basket passes, and he making passes on backdoor cuts from the from the top of the key when he does have it. But we don't have that going on inside Tom's system, and I wish Tom would somehow develop something better going on. But right now, I'm gonna have to stick with Mitch.
Do you think the system is that way because of Mitch, though? Do you think the system is that way because we don't have forget Hartenstein? Let's just say it was somebody else. Do you think the system would be different if we had an offensive-minded center?
No.
Okay.
No, because he still brought them centers. He still brought Joakim Noah up there where he bringing Mitch at. It's just I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
It's fine. No, I was just asking the question.
Right.
Ajay.
Right, Queen. So I'm reading the chat. Like I think they confused. You asked, your question was, do we start Mitch or do we start Hart? Right. But they're going crazy. Trade Mitch, get Ayton, get Miles Turner,
right.
The question is, which one do you start? That's a tough one. Listen, if we running it back, I think we probably should really run it back and keep Mitch. Like if we somehow able to add a better shooter, man, I don't know. Either way, because Mitch is crucial in his offensive rebounding is crucial to the team. The second chance opportunities, we need them. Those putbacks, we need them because we don't have great shooters on the team, right? And that could work for first or second unit or bench unit. And Hart, if you put him in the starting lineup, he's more offensive oriented than Mitch. I think, not in terms of putback, but in terms of pick and roll and stuff like that. I think he's a better player in those positions. It could go either way, so I would just leave it the way it is. I would just keep Mitch and start lineup and have Hart. And probably, and I think Tibbs done that a few times this season. They have him play around the same amount of minutes, depending on how the game's going. So it's a toss up for me. But if we run it, I would keep it the same way. I would keep it the way we have it now. I wouldn't change. So,
Jarrell?
I think I'm gonna agree with AJ and Jay Boogie a little bit. Like, I really don't think it matters. Just because of the way Tibb coaches. And I don't think, even though I think Hart is more offensive, coordinated than Mitch, I don't think it's so far that Tibbs trusts him enough to actually shoot the three like that. Mm-hmm. So if it was somebody else, more offense oriented, I think our offense would change. But like, Hart did start over Mitch at one point when Mitch got hurt, and our offense didn't look really different at all. So yeah, I'll probably still start Mitch just for the simple fact that I don't think it'll change either way. I think they'll still play around the same amount of minutes. If you're gonna say Mitch is like a handicap on offense with the starters, he'll be still a handicap with the bench too. It's not like we got shooters coming off the bench either. At least not that many. So our offense will still be the same, other than IQ. And if you want to call him like a sharpshooter or whatever, but yeah, I really don't think it'll change at this point. Not with Tibbs as the coach, unless, I don't know, Hart will have to show him some in the offseason that he was really. Yeah, I'm trying to think what would change Tibbs' mind. Like, once Tibbs pretty much trusts something, he pretty much goes with that. So I would say probably just keep it the same, because I don't think it matters.
I think it matters. Let me get my piece in before the presidents come in. I think it matters. I think it matters. I think going 4-on-5 on the offensive end every single time, because whoever's guarding Mitch can roam and rotate and give extra attention to whoever's hot, to RJ, extra attention to Randle, because of Mitch, and he can't hit free throws. Like, I'm just having a hard time with Mitchell Robinson right now. But I agree with Hartenstein. We're definitely going to have. You need better perimeter defenders if you're going to start Hart. I have no concerns about his rebounding at all. Even his pick and roll defense is fine, but he's not a deterrent in terms of people getting into the key. But why do we need a deterrent? Because we can't guard people. That's why we need a deterrent, because we can't, we can't guard people. I mean, anyway, I'm just a bit over Mitch. It don't even have to be Hartenstein. I just feel if we had an offensive-minded center, I think it would really help us. And I also think that sometimes we overrate Mitch in the sense that we feel like we just can't. Oh my God, we just can't do without a Mitch. We just need him. We just need him. And I just feel like that's just overplaying it. And I get all the advanced stats and the on numbers, how we're a better defensive team when Mitchell Robinson is in the game, but we're just as bad offensively when he's when he's in the game. But anyway, let's turn it over to
y'all gonna make James Dolan fire everybody if he find out his bench is making more money than his starters.
Right.
Staffer?
I'm keeping Mitch in the starting lineup. And I'm gonna say this. I know it's a wild take. People may be thinking I'm crazy or what I'm drinking on, but I think Mitch could shoot. I honestly think he could shoot, but there is no place on the team for him to shoot because you got three dominant players and then you still need a shooting guard like Grimes to get his shot off. So it's like, where is Mitchell Robinson's shots going to happen? I understand, sometimes when you have a little offensive rebounders right there, sometimes you don't look at the basket, but at the same time, that's why he's one of the top guys in offensive rebounds, right? And how he gets his points. Depending on who is guarding him, he might have to kick it out. So that being said, I feel like Mitch does have potential talent to shoot the ball. I mean, we see all these videos that he's shooting and taking people off the dribble, but the coach is not going to let him do that. They're not going to let him do that. He has a specific role on the team, which is to rebound offensively and defensively, block shots, rim run, do a little pick and rolls if he can, to be effective on the rim. So even though he's offensively limited in this offense because of Tom, I feel like we need a person like that. Even though we could get a lot of people like that in the draft and probably around the league, but if we was to get Mitch, I want us to get a wing shooter, because that would just, I think, keep the offense balanced. Get another rim protector. I heard Sim talking about Miles Turner. He will be a nice fit, stretch the floor, still rebound, still block shots, space the floor, good 3-point shooter. But but with this team right now, I'm saying keep Mitch. Starting.
Yes.
I don't know if Mitch can shoot though. Stafford Don.
He can't. Right.
I mean, come on. He's in the league 12 years, and we still waiting for the offense to come along. At some point, you just become
12 years. Come on.
Stafford. It's one thing to take your homeboys off the dribble when you practice.
Bro, but that's not even being a homer though. I'm serious though. The young man can shoot. Go check his high school highlights. He could shoot.
My whole thing with
I'm not just saying that.
He's shooting against
I'm just saying there's too much ball dominant players on this team for Tom Thibodeau to set offensive sets for him. That's all I'm saying. How he get his point. Go ahead, Queen. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The same shots that Hartenstein get. It's not a lot, but them same shots. Mitch can't take those shots. How come Hartenstein is allowed to take those little floaters, but Mitch isn't?
I don't think Mitch has a floater game. He has like a long drive shot. Like if you was to put him on the perimeter, a 3-point perimeter, I think he can make that shot.
No, he can't.
He can't even make a free. You see how flat the free.
Listen, how many? But Queen, how many players is bad at free throws, but still shoot the ball perfectly around the perimeter?
Not.
I mean,
usually your free throw shooting is an indication of the type of perimeter shooter you are. Not all the time, but usually it is. I just think that long floater that Hartenstein makes for Mitch, it might not be a long floater. Maybe it's just a mid-range shot. I just think that I think Tibbs saying, Hart, take your shot. Mitch, don't shoot. I just don't see that happening.
I think if he could work out with a person like Marcus Camby, who had that high arcing shot, and he could work with him with the jump shot, I think it could happen. Okay. I mean, it may sound crazy, but I feel Mitch can potentially get a jump shot. But is Tom Thibodeau on them putting him in that position to make that shot? That's all I'm saying.
Why does Tibbs always get the blame for that?
Yeah, but come on, man.
Yeah,
Listen,
because the offense is built around him.
But Stafford, but this is his second coach that he played under though. If he wasn't good with Fizdale either, so is everybody holding him back? Like he played 2 years in the league.
Bro, but what I'm saying to you is that when he first came in the league with Fizdale wasn't looking at him as no shooter. They were looking at him as a second round pick, raw, that could block shots. That's all they was looking at him. He's not developed like how he was developed now. That's all I'm saying. There's limited shots for him to do whatever he wants. I know there's 1 or 2 shots that he could take. Yes, I get it. But I just feel that if he's given the opportunity to take 1 or 2 shots from the perimeter, I just feel he could take it. That's just my opinion.
Understand.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Everybody's like a moment of silence. Like.
No, but it's cool. Listen, it's cool. It's cool to have an opinion. You say you think Mitch can make those shots, but so far he's proved that he cannot. He doesn't have it.
Bro, but when did you even have him? Have you even seen him shoot a shot in the game?
He doesn't.
No
he doesn't
time.
shoot it.
The only time he does that is in RJ. The only time he does it is in practices and on off-season workouts. That's when you see Mitch shoot the ball.
Okay,
they do not. He never shoot a shot from the perimeter. As long as Mitch has been in this league, he does not get the shot from the perimeter. Tom Thibodeau never gave him a shot.
But
that's all I'm saying. Just like how
he's had the ball. He's had the ball in his hand where he can't find nobody to pass it. He doesn't. He still doesn't shoot the ball. He doesn't
even look at the basket.
He doesn't even look at the basket. So that's not a.
I don't think
he
he's
doesn't shoot it
comfortable
because he
on the
can't.
offensive end.
It had many times, Nick. I understand what y'all saying, but at the same time, y'all can't tell me when he was looking for people, he didn't see that he drove to the basket a couple of times. I'm not saying he did it 90, 80% of the time, but when he had his opportunity to drive to the basket, he did do it. And we was like, oh, wow. Like, come on now. Y'all acting like this guy don't have no type of little game in him.
Stafford,
like you just pushing him to the side. Come on.
That's not shooting.
What?
Driving to the basket is driving to the basket and dunking it. That's not shooting.
No, but I get you said no. Queen said he doesn't look at the basket, and I'm just rebuttaling to what she said about that.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think Mitch is very confident on the offensive end. Every so often he'll do it, but there's times he doesn't even look at the basket. When Miami was playing the zone, I'm like, the middle was wide open. Mitch finally came up. He got the ball right near the foul. He didn't even turn around to look to see if there was any cutters. Or I just don't think he feels comfortable with the ball. And it's just recently he started getting assists. Just recently he started seeing
Queen,
when he get the ball.
Let me ask you this, right? If you was in Mitch's position and I tell you, shoot the ball, but at the same time, before I wasn't telling you shoot the ball, don't you think in your mind sometimes you might say, all right, let me shoot the ball? They're not telling him to shoot.
The fact that
that's not his role.
Problem. That's the problem.
And it's not his role because, all right, okay. I just think who Mitch is who he is. Go ahead, Boogie.
I think we
if it wasn't for the dunk, give him that high field goal percentage, Mitch might be the worst offensive center in the league. Just point blank. He doesn't have a jump hook. He doesn't have a drop step. He doesn't have a reverse pivot. He has none of those.
He don't
have a face the rim. If it wasn't for him dunking, he might be the worst offensive center it is in the league.
Even the footwork.
That's not on nobody but Mitch. Because
no, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
He just when you see the footage of him doing the workouts and you know what I'm saying, and he be in the gym, it be him and his mans in them. You know what I'm saying? He ain't calling. He ain't trying to go to Akeem Olajuwon camp. He ain't trying to call Kevin McHale. He ain't trying to rock with none of them guys. He ain't calling nobody. Thank God Julius called him to the crib last year. But man, he just don't have it.
Listen,
And that's not on Tom.
Yeah, we can't blame that on Tibbs. And trust me, I want to blame Tibbs for everything. I can't blame him for that one.
That is true. If AJ had to blame Tibbs for something,
Listen, I blame Tibbs for the RJ's 1 for 10 shooting in Game 6. I don't know why, but I'm like, that's Tibbs' fault, man. Why was RJ in there to begin
with? Yeah. All right. I mean, so I guess people feel that his lack of offense is not an issue. I think we're just gonna have to rebuild the roster, because if you're gonna have Mitch at the center, everybody else in that lineup got to be able to shoot. You just can't have him and RJ in the line. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff, you didn't get a chance.
Jeff got to go too.
Sorry.
Well, I'll say this: Mitchell Robinson not a good offensive player. He's my favorite player, but he's not a good offensive player. But he was also the defensive anchor on a team that won 47 games, and he played the plurality, not the majority, but the plurality of the minutes at the 5 spot. And we won a bunch of games. And when he didn't have it, we have a great resource in Isaiah Hartenstein who can come in and do some different things. I think that we can do a few things to help Mitch out. I wish we had some good lob passers, because all he does is dunk, and we don't have a lot of guys who give him good lob looks at the rim. But I'm not overly worried about his offense, to be honest. What is the saying? The lever doesn't change his spots, or whatever it is. I don't ever think he's going to be a good offensive player. I don't know that we need him to be. If you can find someone who's going to be as good as he is defensively and an upgrade on offense, great. I think the players are out there.
As good. Why does the player has to be as good as he is on defense? There's other centers playing in the league that's not as good as Mitchell Robinson is on defense, but what they bring offensively offsets that. So why does the person have to be better on defense?
Because of a roster construction.
Okay. Joker is not is a better defensively, but what he brings offensively, and this is an extreme example, offsets what he can't do defensively. And what you're saying is, to my point, we have to construct the roster in such a way that we can't stop depending on Mitch and playing 4-on-5. So I agree with you, because if you don't have perimeter defenders and you got Josh Hartenstein back there, it's going to be problems. But I feel like the Knicks have to get off of the Mitch thing. Get off of the Mitch thing and construct this roster in such a way where we have a center who can score. So we're not playing 4-on-5. We got good perimeter defenders. Like, what are other teams doing?
Okay, but that's a different question than the question that you asked. I was understanding the question to be, who would we rather start?
With the same, okay, I hear what you're saying. With this same
Mitchell Robinson or Isaiah Hartenstein. And if that's the question, then my answer is unequivocally Mitchell Robinson. Now, if you want to say that Mitchell Robinson is the wrong man for the construction of this roster at the 5 spot, and there are better players to fill that role, I'm not going to argue with that. But I don't think that this roster was a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. We're in year 3 of our rebuild. I think by the time we get to where we want to go, I think you'll probably see 2 or 3 of the guys who were in this year's starting lineup, maybe even 4 that are not here anymore.
Right, but that's like sooner than later. Like, people are acting like the Knicks becoming a championship contenders like 3 years down the line. It could be this summer, depending on what they do. But you're right. In terms of the question, if you got RJ, who's not guarding his guy, you got Brunson, who's not a good defender, you got Grimes, who is a good defender, you got Randle, who's a sometime defender. I get it. You're gonna need Mitch back there. So you're right. In terms of how the question was asked, yes, I would agree, Mitch. But the new conversation is, I need the Knicks to do something with this roster so that we can get so that Hartenstein or somebody else who can take a shot can start for the Knicks. You look at all of these, even Boston, you know, they may start, what's his name? The Williams kid?
Robert Williams the third.
But they're at their best when Horford is and Horford is actually a really good defensive player too. He just can't do it for as many minutes as they need him to do it. But you got Bam in Miami. You got, you know, I'm just thinking about the centers around the league who Bam may not be as good a defender as Mitchell Robinson, but it's offset by the offense that he, you know, that he brings. So the Knicks, I hear what you guys are saying. The Knicks got to do something with this roster. I just feel like we need, unless you get in 4 light out shooters around Mitchell Robinson.
And shout out to only the 2 people that agreed with me in the chat. Just 2.
But in terms of the offense, I mean, I think most people agree, and even I agree to start Mitch if there is no changes to the roster.
I think he says
I'm talking about his shooting. His shooting.
I'm with you, Keith Turner. It wasn't that big a deal for me in the beginning of the season because we was successful. When we got in the playoffs and you looked and you just saw, well, we got this bam unit. These just guys that's gonna just, those who are in the younger generation may not remember the Flintstones and Bam, but you know, the caveman kid, you know, just barreling into the key. We just don't have any type of shooter. So I'm with you, Keith Turner. The roster is for sure unbalanced. Go ahead, Jeff. You had more to say.
Go ahead, Jeff.
So I actually, and as much as I love Robinson, he may not be the 5 for us. I don't know, but we're going to make alterations to the starting 5. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I will be shocked if they just run it back with the same 5 that came into this year. But I've said all year, I think that the lineup is clunky. I don't like the fit of Barrett and Randle together, and I understand your point that Robinson kind of exacerbates that problem, and so I'll agree with you there. But I think that the other side of that equation is if you get better perimeter defenders and you have Mitch in the middle, I think you can have an elite defense that really makes an impact where you can live with Robinson's offensive deficiencies. Like imagine people not be able to get by on the perimeter and Mitch free to roam the paint and block shots and alter things and affect things in a way that we've seen him do. So from that standpoint, I agree with you.
You still need some offense though. You still need offense. You're gonna still need offense. So if those 2 perimeter guys are shooting shots too, I'm with you.
Preferably, yes. I mean, with the team needs shooting at every position except for the 1.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm saying, Queen, if we do get an offensive shooter, right? I mean, is at the center position. That means RJ or Randle is gone. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think if you get a shooting center, you can even hold on to. You can have one person in that lineup that's not a good shooter. I think.
So let's say Brunson averages 20 shots, Randle averages 18 shots, RJ averages 16 shots. Quentin Grimes needs his shots at the 2. Let's say he gets at least 8.
Quentin Grimes is coming off the bench in a perfect world. But go ahead.
So all right. So who is starting at the 2 then? That's what I'm saying. If he just hypothetically we just put Grimes there. Let's say he gets 8 shots. Where is the shots for the center coming from? Unless it's not on the offensive.
It's just part of the offense. It's not like you're sitting down saying the center needs to get certain shots. It's just that when the ball comes to you, you can do something with it, even off an offensive rebound. If you get an offensive rebound and you 3 or 4 feet from the basket, if you have a little, if you got a little,
no. Well, Queen, I get the jump shot, I get the layups, I get the pushback, right? I get the putbacks. But I'm saying people say we want to space the floor. So I'm saying, what is it? Are we going to space the floor and have him out there and not underneath the basket to get the offensive rebounds? Oh, that's what I'm saying. What are we doing?
I think, that's a good point. That's a good point. If you have a center that's not shooting threes, I still think you get a little more space than if you have a shooter that can't shoot at all. Because even when Hart is there, obviously he's not hitting, not obviously, but he's not hitting 3-pointers. So he's not pulling the center all the way out to the 3-point line, but at least he's at the free throw line. At least you still have to come out from underneath the basket to guard him at the free throw line. You're getting a little bit more spaces. We don't cut. We don't do a lot of cutting, but you could cut behind that, for a pass. With Mitch, you don't even get that.
Well, to Queen's point, also, I think what was frustrating to me in the playoffs, especially the Miami series, I counted like 4, maybe even 5 times. It might not have been that many, but it felt like it, where Randle drew the double team, passed the ball to Mitch, who was wide open, should have been a dunk, and he didn't even catch the ball, or he caught the ball and he kept it low and it got stripped from him. Those are the things, to me, those are the situations where he's got to be better. That's the situation where I
things. Right. I agree.
You don't think it's not cool with averaging 17 and 9 assists.
Right. I was going to say that too.
Just know how to get his own bucket. Brunson will feel a whole lot better if he only had to take big shots and get the team involved throughout the game.
Right.
You lacking in positions. You lacking in a guy that plays the 3, and you lacking in a guy that plays the 2, and then you have only Julius, and you lacking at the 4, at the 5. So you really got 3 lacking spots in your starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? With those areas are going to have to be dealt with, and like Jeff just said, you best believe they get ready to do something about this roster. They're not get ready to sit back and you know what I'm saying, and think that we're just cool. The only way they'll do that's if the 1 seed, 2 seed, and the 3 seed, all 3 of those teams break up. Then they might stay pat. If them teams stay the same, and them guys know that they was only 10 games away and 2 games away from the Eastern Conference, 4 from the finals, and 4 from winning it all, them guys is going to make a move. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to make a move now because they know they have to. And for those that don't, that say trade Julius and all, don't worry, they're going to trade Julius because they know where in the world right now Julius is sitting at 258 million. If he became a free agent, they're not paying Julius that. They're not. So you know what I'm saying? Because he's a 2-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, NBA, all NBA and all that. Yeah, we appreciate that, but they know they're not getting ready to get Julius almost no $300 million. They know that. So they know they got to move. Leon knows he got to move these guys and get this roster in a better position, but you got to just let the man work, and just the great thing about it is we have somebody working around, which is a point guard. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a point guard, and all these answers and questions and askings, it wouldn't even matter because we wouldn't have a point guard. But now that we got a point guard, they're going to make Seaware fit. They're going to make everything fit out. Best believe that. And I pray for it every day. I know it's not going to be the same coming back in next season. No, ain't no way in the hell we going back with that same starting 5. Somebody going to the bench, and somebody's going up out of here. I think 3 players is going up out of here. I think Evan, Derrick Rose, and maybe 2 more players going to go up out of here. That's 4 players, you know what I'm saying, out of the 15. And you're going to need that tight space because remember, Tom only going to play 9. So I can't just move 1 player and bring in 2 people. I can't sign a free agent and trade for one player and still have Evan and Derrick Rose on here because it don't fit. He's not playing 11-man rotation. Something's going to be done. Something's going to be done. But I get it. We talking about it. But Mitch, he got to bring something to the table, man. Got your money. You need to do something in the offseason. You need to get it right. Everybody got to work the game, get it right. Whatever you weak at, work on that. Don't come back trying to develop what you already know how to do. I don't want to see the same thing. I don't want to see Grind catch and shoot. I want to see Grind say clear it out, move out the way.
So Jay Boogie, I don't mean to cut you. So if you Tom Thibodeau, what would you like to see Mitch work on and come back in the training camp?
Mitch got to learn how to spread his body wide and post up first. He don't even know how to do that. He don't even know how to ask for the ball.
No. So you saying you would like to see Mitch develop a post game?
Mitch should be easily averaging a double-double. He only averaged a double-double. And what's his field goal percentage? You would think the field goal percentage he's averaging at least 12 and 12. 2 blocks. He ain't averaging that.
I don't think you answered the question though. What would you like Mitch to work on coming back to training camp? Is it a jump up? Is it a post move?
I just told you he got to learn how to post up first.
Okay.
He don't even know how to do that, so I can't give him the ball until he know how to spread and post up for the ball. Put that hand where it's supposed to be at, throw it right there. He don't even know how to do that. Until he can do that, he can't do nothing else. I don't want to see Mitch trying to shoot no jumpers. I don't want to see him trying to shoot no tray balls. None of that. That's not his game.
Well, you see, that's the thing. I think he should develop a jump shot because if you're going to have Julius in the post and you want to stretch the floor and he's outside, hold on, and he's outside on the perimeter, he could at least make a jump shot, right? So if I'm Tom, I'm telling him, go work on your jump shot, go work on your shooting, go work on your free throws because you already got bully ball down in the paint already with Julius and RJ.
But Stafford, you already told us he can shoot. You don't need to develop it. He already got it.
No, that's what I'm saying. Work on the shot.
He got it already.
Work on the shot. But as I said before, Tom Thibodeau is not going to allow him to shoot. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Man, put that on Tibbs.
All right. I just wanted to bring this up because Boogie was talking about whether they're going to sign. You're right, Julius Randle, but I think it's 2 years out. So Julius Randle next year at 25.6, and then the year after at 27.5, and then in 25-26, that's a player option, and I would think he's going to opt out of that contract. So if he's up for a major extension, the Knicks would probably try to move him after next season, right? If he's up for a major extension, are you going to pay him what, $250 million or whatever his extension is going to be? Because if Brunson continues to play this way, and there's no reason to think he won't, you're going to have to max Brunson.
Yep.
They gonna give him a next friendly deal. They ain't gonna be that stupid to give him no outlandish contract like that. He didn't take us to the Eastern Conference Finals. He didn't be an MVP to earn all that money. So as much as I like Julius Randle, yes, he might get a raise, but not to the point of that type of money you talking about, Queen. Nah, he ain't all that. He my guy, but he ain't all that.
But if you look at the 2 All-Star appearances, 2 All-NBA, if he make the All-NBA again, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to make the All-NBA in one of the 2 prior seasons?
I thought it was just the current season. Like when it comes to when you talk about like
no, he wouldn't be eligible for the Supermax anyway, because I think that's for players who were drafted, drafted to your team. So I don't think he would be eligible for that anyway. All right. But yeah, so it would just be a max. And Brunson, both Brunson and they're not going to pay both of them unless Randle flips the script, next year. And because there was times, remember, during the regular season when both of those guys was cooking, and we asked ourselves, could they be a number 1 and number 2 on a championship team? So if they come back and show that, then in the 25-26 season, I could see them maxing out both of them. I think with the new CBA, that's the way it's looking. You're going to have 2 players instead of 3 that you're going to max out.
Randle, my guy, but I got to see it. Regular season is a different animal from the playoffs. We all say that. So the playoffs is where you show out. So until he show out in the playoff, then after I could think about considering giving him that type of money. But right now he hasn't done nothing. 2 All-Stars, All NBA, okay. But I don't think I need more. That's just me.
Oh my God! We need more, but don't tell me he ain't do nothing. Come on, man. Yeah, we need more. That's not where we want to be. But that is a huge accomplishment in the NBA. To be All NBA, to be All Stars twice in 3 years is that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, but to not show up in the playoffs, RJ, not show up. You understand what I'm saying? Regular season, yeah, big deal. You know what I mean? But come on, we need you to show up in the playoffs.
You can't say he didn't do nothing because before him, we didn't have that.
I'm not. Look, you talking to the biggest RJ president right here, bro. I'm not discrediting nothing that he didn't do. But what I'm saying is for what Queen is saying, for us to give him that type of money, he has to flip that switch. He has to do some unbelievable things for us to be like, okay, he is that number 1 or number 2 punch on a championship team. And right now he's not that. So I'm not giving him that type of money. We need more. So that's why, as I said earlier, what Jeff said, with a healthy Randle and 2 years of experience in the playoffs, the next time he in the playoffs, we don't want to see no excuses. And that's all that it is.
And if we make the playoffs next year, he don't show up, listen, get him up out of here.
Right, and that's what Queen is talking about. We might have to go ahead and move him.
I'm not even going to wait on the playoffs. If he's putting up 22, 23 points and 10, 11 rebounds, and you already know he's making it to another All-Star game, that trade deadline next year, I'm offing him. I'm trading him.
Damn, Jay, you're not even waiting for the playoffs to see what he got?
I don't think they're doing that. I don't think they're doing that.
Hold, let me finish one time, Don. Because you want to put yourself in risk to do that same thing again in the playoffs. And he putting up those numbers, somebody's going to bite. And then, like I said, you thinking about when he becomes that free agent. You know what I'm saying? You don't even want to go in a tug of war with this guy if he makes the All-Star game and an All-NBA game for a third time.
But Jay Boogie, are we winning or are we losing when he's averaging these 22 points, 10 rebounds?
I'm not talking about if we winning or losing. I'm talking about are we building?
But Jay Boogie, so here's my thing though. If next year he balling, right? 23, 24, 10 rebounds. Mm-hmm. And at the trade deadline you get rid of him. What are you getting? Are you getting somebody that's gonna take us to the playoffs and beyond? Or are you just trading him just because his value?
See one thing
about the salary cap. I think that's where Boogie is trying to say he's going to be eligible for a super max, 250 million something
with the new CBA.
Right?
Are you locking yourself into that team? I'm sorry, go ahead, Boogie.
Yeah.
You're right, because where you think I mean, Tatum is a different type player. He don't put on in the playoffs and all that, but it's because he made them all be NBA teams in an All-Star game that they talking about 315 million with this guy. They talking about that number because he don't earn that. So right now Julius is at 2. Not saying that he's going to ask for that, but you got to realize, the Knicks is looking for a superstar. And to put yourself in position, we got 4 first-round draft picks. I look for that Detroit Pistons pick next year to be something. I think they're going to build something, and they got a coach. I think we're going to get that pick, and it's going to be a good pick. If we got 4 first-round draft picks come next year, and we're able to say steal something and get another draft pick for next year, that's 5 draft picks and some more cap space that we're sitting real lovely. This is where I want to be at, man. I mean, I like Julius' game too. I ain't even
but J Boogie, this is a thing. This is a thing, right?
Let him finish. Let him finish.
I'm done. Go ahead.
No, but this is the thing, right? No, we just having a dialogue, and I just want us to go back and forth, right?
You cutting them off, Stafford. That's the thing.
My bad. It's just the fact where I don't understand where J Boogie coming from is where the part where he's saying, okay, he's averaging 24, 10, and 5 or whatever, and we winning, but we still going to trade him because he's eligible for a supermax. So
you winning during the regular season, but are you winning in the playoffs?
What? That's what I'm saying. Who are we bringing back to keep that 4 or 5, 6 seed that we just traded away? That player that's have us in the 4, 5 seed.
We might not be. You know what? You bring up a very good point, Stafford. We might have to take.
That's where I'm confused at.
You might have to take a step back because, on the one hand, I'm not paying him that money and locking myself in, as far as the salary cap. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know. We're talking 2 years out. Where's the salary cap going to be for the Knicks at that point? Are we going to go over the second apron if we give him a supermax, right? If that's the decision, you got to move. You got to be like, I'm not getting into supermax. I'm not crossing that second apron with Randle. We're going to have to move him, and we might have to take a step back.
But just because he's eligible for a supermax doesn't mean that that's what he's going to get offered as a contract. He was eligible for a supermax the last time we extended him, and he didn't get anywhere close to that because guess what? The market for him as a player isn't as a supermax player. So I don't think there's any world where someone is going to see Julius Randle doing even if he continues to do what he does and plays pretty well in the playoffs. I don't see anybody cutting him a check for a supermax contract. I just don't see that.
But they might want to offer him more than the Knicks are willing. To.
Maybe.
He took a.
But that's probably in the off season.
He took a pay cut then, but you got 3 All NBAs under your belt. You taking another pay cut?
Yeah, he did us a favor with that last contract. He did us a favor, and the favor, even if it looked like a favor, you know what I'm saying, it worked out because he didn't really perform. But I'd rather I'm not looking to bring one person for him, and that's where we're getting confused. I want to be able to make multiple moves. This roster need like 3, 4 players on here to really, really go somewhere. So I'm not looking to move Julius Randle for one person to take and put in his role. I need another starter person, maybe another shooter, a defender, and maybe other bench players. This roster is not done. And Jeff, you said it yourself. This is only our 3rd year rebuild. So if this is our 3rd year rebuild, are you staying pat? If everybody's the same or getting stronger?
No, not standing pat, but that doesn't mean we need to move heaven and earth either. I think there's something to be said for continuity and having, I think we need to make some improvements to the roster, but I don't think that necessarily means churning the whole thing over either. I would like to see a majority of the rotation stay in place. We run a 9-man rotation. I don't care necessarily which 6 they are, but I'd kind of like to see 5 or 6 of them stay just because they're familiar with Coach Thibodeau's system and what he likes to run. They know what's going on. The more you play together, I think the better that you get. So yeah, I think that, do we need improvements? Absolutely. But maybe I'm crazy, but I actually think we're 1 or 2 pieces away if they're the right pieces So I don't think we need to go, you know, in other words, I think we've got a pretty good car that just may need, you know, a new set of tires on it and maybe an upgrade to the engine a little bit, but we don't need to start from scratch and, you know, take down the whole chassis and have to rebuild it from the ground up. I don't think we need that either. So to me, I think we're pretty close. And I think actually if we can get a wing in here who can shoot and play defense that's like 6'7", that would, I'm not saying that we can find that player, but if we can, in place of RJ Barrett and then find a better backup for Randle than Obi Toppin, I think you've got a team that can definitely make some noise. I mean, we were 2 wins away from the ECF this year with a roster that has all the flaws that we've just mentioned and a coach that half the fan base wants to run out of here on a rail.
Yeah, but that's part of where the Eastern Conference is. It's going to change. The landscape of the Eastern Conference is not going to stay the same. But Jeff, you saying the same thing Big Boogie is saying, because you're talking about 2 players, but the players you're talking about, that's going to take a roster turnover. You're not bringing in a wing in place of RJ Barrett 1-to-1 with RJ Barrett. You're going to have to give up more than RJ Barrett in order to get that wing in. So you're saying the same thing. You know, you're going to have to give up some players to bring in those 2 players. You're not going to just switch Obi Toppin out for like a Jeff Green and switch RJ Barrett out for OG Anunoby and feel like you're going to be there. The Knicks need somebody. Every player and every team in the playoffs have 2 guys. Who do we have to go with Brunson? We got to bring in somebody to go with Brunson, and that's going to cost. Just no way around it. It's gonna cost.
Sure.
You got Jamal Murray and Jokic, even Bam and Butler. You go down the line, Tatum and Brown. Who do we have to go with Brunson? Nobody. We got to go and get that guy, and it's gonna cost.
Well, but it doesn't necessarily cost rotation players. It may cost 1 or 2 rotation players plus draft capital.
Queen.
And we have a lot of that.
Who's giving up, depending on the level of player we're talking about, everybody is like overvaluing these draft picks. They're going to want players, and they're going to want young players because they're starting over. Most teams who are giving up a star player or trading a star player, they're going to want players back. Remember, draft picks are hit or miss. They're going to want some not surefire, but players that they've seen play in the league. Like, you're not getting, let's just say Paul George was 29. You're not getting him for RJ Barrett and 4 first-round draft picks and 2 pick swaps. It's just not. It's just not happening. That level of player, unless you're getting them on a come up, like we got Julius Randle on his way up. We got Brunson on the way up. Unless you're getting somebody on the way up, it's going to cost you. And the second thing, and I'll move it over to Ajay, the Knicks are too young to be championship. Look at these championship contending teams. How many of them have young players like this in their rotation? They might have 1. But the entire team is not full of Quickleys and Grimes and McBrides. They're not full of those type of guys. They're full of guys who've been in the league for 5, 6, 7 years. And you might have 1 like Philly has Maxey. You understand? So we're gonna have to choose. I mean, it's not gonna be us, it's the front office. If we want to be championship contenders, this team is gonna look really, really different. It's gonna look different. I don't see any way around it.
I'm good with the team looking different. Depends on whatever the other pieces. Queen, you mentioned Miami Heat. You mentioned the 2 players, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Those are the role players, man. The 2 players are Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent. But Butler and Adebayo are just role players on that Miami team, man. I don't know what's going on over there, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you along with the players, I gotta get some better bench work. That bench work, man. I gotta have some better bench work. Stats. He spoke of Marcus Camby. Working out with. Yeah, where's Larry Johnson and all these Sprewells and all? What's wrong with them guys working? I don't. All that just being at the game and your name get called, you waving. No, you need to get over there and work with them guys.
Jay Book, I think they're on a payroll, man. I think those guys getting paid to do something.
Yeah, but they getting paid for the wrong thing. They getting paid to just be showing up in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Larry Johnson ain't on no payroll to be doing work. That's what we need. You mean to tell me Larry Johnson can't help Julius Randle? This is what we need. And that's why I respect what's going on in Miami, because they're so tight with their organization. They tight with it. You see all their ex-players, you see them on the road. You don't see our players on the road. Where they at? Nowhere. But let in that garden, shoot, go slow roll. No, great, no, 2, remember this shot. Larry Johnson at the buzzer, 4 points. They there for that. Get over there and help these guys. You got to have a coaching staff too. You can't just put it on the players. You got to have these guys that can coach these guys. That's why over there in Miami, they don't worry about. That's why they don't worry about draft picks, because they got the type people around that can develop these guys who ain't going to be drafted. Develop their game. We got guys and we can't even develop.
We got Othello Harrington.
Yeah. I don't even know the rest.
Right.
Hey, you can't keep. What are you doing? I understand. I'm just joking. But maybe I might understand Julius. But that stupid laptop out my face, man. You don't know the sound of the laptop. Dude, what you watching?
I still don't know who that was. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't think people. I mean, we're not gonna never get over. There's somebody I forgot that I'm trying to find it. That the Randle disrespect. Listen, it's just because you want to get better as a team, everybody is on the table, and including Randle. And I'm interested to hear from Sherwin and my guy Quiet Money. Do you think Julius Randle is a go-to play on a championship team? I'm not going to even say a number 1 or a number 2. From what you've seen, do you think he can be a go-to guy on a championship contending team? So I don't mind Julius Randle staying on the team. I just don't see him like that. That's all.
Okay, Queen, I think overall we've been saying a lot of positive things about Julius Randle. I don't know what disrespect are they talking about.
Yeah.
Were you saying anything negative? Period.
Man,
Just how it is.
And I think when we went around, everybody said they would keep Julius Randle and get rid and trade RJ back.
All 6 of us.
All 6 of us. What Randle disrespect we talking about here?
Right. Maybe they talking in the chat. We almost out of here, but as far as the last segment is concerned, Boogie wants 3 or 4 changes this offseason. Jeff wants 1 or 2. I agree that it is a fine line. You can make a lot of changes at one time and it can backfire. But then you could stay at pat, and then the rest of the league, the rest of the Eastern Conference can pass you by, because we're not the only ones that see an opportunity that the East is wide open, right? Other organizations see that too, and they're going to try to fortify their roster as well. So I think the Knicks are in a tricky situation. Sherman says Randle is a go-to people. I don't think so. It's not about it's about the decision making. Sherman, it's about the decision making in those critical moments. are you making the right decisions? Because you can make the right decisions and a guy can miss a shot, but we could see the game and be like, that's not Julius. He made the right decision. The guy missed the shot. If you watching the game and you watch it, Sherwin, he's not a pressure cooker type of player. I mean, I just think that if you can't see that, then I don't really know what to say about it. But he overpasses. Okay. All right. Okay. And all right. I mean, I'm not arguing with that. Listen, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I've crossed over. I got my chip hat on. Anytime I'm talking about this team, anytime I'm talking about the moves we make on this team, I got my chip hat on. So I don't even want to hear about all-star teams. I don't want to hear about all NBA chip hat. And when you got a chip hat on, how do you perform in the playoffs? Do I think that I'm extrapolating? I know Grimes struggled, but I want to see him next year to see if he can be, a guy that could perform in his role. That's all I'm asking, in his role in the playoffs. I got my chip hat on. So when I'm looking at Julius Randle, I'm looking at him from that perspective.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions, anything before we get out of here? Oh, quickly, want to talk about the Chris Paul thing real quick, right?
Yeah.
I'm a pass on Chris Paul only because of the injury history. And I don't know. I think he would want to start even at this age. I don't know if he would want to come off the bench behind Brunson. When he's healthy, he was still playing at a relatively high level for what he does. When he was with Phoenix, it's just that he's another one like Paul George. I don't care what it is. Come playoff time, boop, injury. It's just year in and year out. So that's the issue with Chris Paul for me.
I'll go real quick. I would take him if he backs up. Like, it's the same point you're making. Like, if he's going to back up Jalen Brunson, I have no problem with it. But if he wants to start, then no, absolutely not.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna treat Chris Paul like his State Farm commercial. He's pretty much done. Keep dribble the ball, dribble the ball, keep dribbling. That's what my man said in his commercial. I'm just joking around. Yo, they already told Chris what it is, so Chris already don't match the gas. Y'all feel like, I'm gonna match the gas. You don't bring that up if you don't want me here. So by the 28th, you need to waive me. And you don't have to worry about Chris coming over here because there's going to be several teams Chris can go to. Right. Chris can go to the Lakers. Chris can go to the Clippers. Chris can go to the Nets. But he preferred those two because his families is over there. Y'all spoke about it. That's why he moved out that way earlier. But as far as him coming over here, Chris is not going to come over here and be with the New York Knicks right now because he feel like he's insulted right now. And then I just got him moving on, going somewhere else. There's other teams that he can go and play for. And I told somebody, I think it was right here on this. It might not have been on this show. I told somebody, don't be surprised as Kyrie if not over there in Phoenix. I said it before about 2-3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? That right there shows me a little move. Kyrie might don't be surprised Kyrie ain't over there with them guys over there.
Look, there's something else Chris Paul says in his commercials, right?
What you say?
What if I switch sports, or what if I change? Yeah, go ahead. Just that speed walking. Yeah, just speed walking on out of here, bro. We don't need you over here, bro. Yeah, that's it. Just go somewhere else. Listen, Chris Paul didn't want to play for the Knicks when he was on and popping, when he was young, when he was MVP, when he was high. When now that he almost done. Listen, we're good, man. We good. We got a point guard. His name's Jalen Brunson.
And I don't want to hear that. That's Leon Rose. That's his man and all that.
Yeah,
he gonna be home come in. Well, I don't want to hear that, man. He coming over here.
Like
man.
I said in one of them chats, if he want to come here for veteran minimum and play 10 minutes behind Jalen Brunson, fine. Otherwise, man, speed walk your way out of here.
Yeah, if he want that D Rose money, yeah, I'll take him. I give him that D Rose money. Get up out of here, D.
Anybody else on that, or
Good on Chris Paul.
everybody's pretty clear on it? All right. What I'll say to the coolest 718 is it's not about the numbers. It's not about the numbers. And he's been our number one since he's gotten here, but I just think that needs to change. I think you're right. And I think that's one of the reasons why he gets a lot of flack, because he's miscast, in my opinion, as a number one. And he can't produce like that in the big moments, and everybody gets on him. But it's not about the numbers. It's about when you get it done. And I'm not totally down as far as his playoff performance. As somebody said earlier, it's been 15 playoff games in his entire career. 15. Jimmy Butler, just now, the past year or two, started showing up in the playoffs the way we would like him to. It wasn't always like that for Jimmy Butler, So, all right. Anything else before we get out of here?
Queen, I got to get up out of here. Thank you so much. It was a great show. I appreciate y'all so much. Jay Boogie, Ajay, Don, Jarrell. I love you guys. See you next week, okay?
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Peace and blessings.
Peace.
Yeah, well, we out of here anyway, unless anybody else have anything else.
Queen,
great to be back. Great show as usual.
Queen,
love causing trouble. I'm the number one troublemaker, so you already know. Peace to the chat. You already know. Get those likes up. Listen to Queen's podcast, Freezy's podcast. Support these guys. You know what I mean? Hit those like buttons. Shout out to the whole panel, Jarrell, Jay Boogie, Ajay, and of course the Queen.
Yeah, hit the like button on the way out, y'all. Let's hit that 100. We five short of 100. Let's make it happen on the way out.
Yeah, definitely. Let's make it happen on the way out. And I did do a podcast with Freezy today, but I just haven't uploaded it. That's how crazy my day has been. So I'll upload it tomorrow morning.
Nice.
All right. I appreciate you, Jarrell, Ajay, Staffer, Jay Boogie, Jeff Claster, of spirited conversation today about Mitch, about how many players should we change in the off season. Boogie going for it. He said, I need 4 changes immediately.
Exactly.
Immediately.
It might mess with the chemistry, but we'll work it. We will work that out. Anyway, I appreciate y'all.
Sister, you one of a kind. Yes. Sister, it's time you shine. Don't so.
Where you at?